It just not. It just can't be like that much Coke, like for that price. It's just no way.
Yeah,
we're on the air. Sorry,
dude. I've never bought that much Coke for that price.
Never.
Oh shit! Are we live? Damn!
Shut it down. Shut it down. Risk it. Pull the plug.
Oh, hello everybody, and yes, it is Wednesday, not Thursday. Show is now on Wednesdays. Had to change. Family obligations on Thursdays came up, so here we are. We're not here to compete with any other show. We're just here to do what we love doing. Just can't do it on Thursdays anymore. But we have got some great guests lined up. Risk it for the biscuit. You may know him from the Xbox Ultimate podcast on Friday nights. That awesome Aussie crew. We got
Infinite.
Crazy Lui.
Xbox Infinite.
Xbox Infinite. Who's Xbox? That's Mav, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
just remember the show is named after Umbra.
All right.
That's
Yeah,
all.
speaking of competing, though, he started streaming the same time as us. I don't know what's going on, Mav. What are you doing, Mav?
You know.
What's up?
Wait.
All right.
Hello.
I'm done. I've already screwed it up. And there we got Crazy Lui, our other guest, who apparently does. Him and Risk It don't agree on very many things, and they argue.
No, we don't.
So.
Yes, we fight every single day. That's why I'm always running away from him, man. Just let him fight alone. Yep. Every day.
So we are looking forward to that. Yes.
Oh man, yes we are.
If you're new to the channel, hit that like button. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe and tell a buddy or two. It helps the little channel out. And we will get right into it. Power Man 4K. What have you been playing this week? What are you looking forward to?
Oh man, this week's been pretty good. I was playing some 2K with me and Dealer. We're messing around with some 2K earlier this week, and then I was playing some Apex, and I'm getting ready for you. You're not a fan. You're not good at it.
I played basketball in high school, but for some reason, being removed from basketball games and video games, I suck now.
Yeah, they're not synonymous at all. You know what I mean? Like having playing the it's like saying you're good at Madden, being actually good at football. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of like plays and stuff like that, but anyways. But
skills aren't transferable. Yeah,
I'll tell you what I'm excited for, man. I watched about they dropped like 20 minutes of Gotham Knights gameplay. Did anybody watch that today? They dropped like 20 minutes, and it was like a main mission with Nightwing, and that game looks good, man. Like it appears to have a pretty in-depth story. Like I'm excited. It's very like detective elements, I mean, seems to be really good. So that's what I'm hyped for, man, right now.
I heard some good things about it today, so
yeah, check it out.
I'm hoping you're right. Yeah.
Palpatine in the chat. This is performance mode. This is running at 60 frames a second. Cyberpunk 2077 with the latest patches captured this just 2 days ago.
Nice.
But I believe that, now correct me if I'm wrong, at 60 frames a second, you're still getting at least 1880p consistently on the Series X.
That's good for me. I'll take that.
Oh, yeah.
Dynamic 4K down to 1880.
And to be honest with you, CD Projekt Red did such a good job with screen space reflections that you don't even notice the absence of ray tracing. It's that good. Walking through rooms and seeing everything, all the reflections on the floor and the walls, and I can't.
I tried to ray trace and it looks horrible. Like going down to 30 frames. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
it looks hideous.
It's frames, then resolution, and graphics, and then ray tracing.
The game has ray trace. The game has ray trace.
Yeah.
There's a mode for it. Yeah, it's like 4K 30 with and the thing is the ray tracing is very very subtle. It's very subtle.
It is subtle. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Even,
like I flipped back and forth on purpose.
Shout out to Thimber in the chat saying, so bad news, folks. 4K is going to going away from YouTube and moving to YouTube Premium. Well,
And-
I've had YouTube Premium for 3 years. I forgot what it was like to watch a commercial
Dear Lord.
before I
Yeah.
did the video.
Yep.
Um,
Totally
yeah.
agree with you there, Matt. I used to,
Agreed.
It's still shady. It's still a shady thing to do. I think
Yes.
this is where we make. I don't know if we're talking about Google today again, but this is the kind of shit that Google pulls on a regular basis. You know, like
Well-
remember? I mean, I think Dealer said it on RDX. Remember back in the day when you used to be able to lock your phone and then have stuff playing in the background when you didn't have premium. And then I remember just one day I tried to lock my phone. I just turned my shit off. I must have locked it about 3 times. Like, what the hell is going on with this damn thing?
Wow.
And then I realized that you had to pay for premium. Like, that's just shady shit. Don't
Well,
this is the thing with that sort of stuff. Add a feature, right? Don't take a feature away and lock it behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Agreed.
well, at the time, it made sense because if you remember, Cobra Kai started on YouTube Red,
Yep.
which
Yep.
became premium. So when it looked like it was going to carry the model of shows, regular content, it made sense. But since then, they've gone away from that, and we've seen the series get sold off to Netflix and Prime and everything else. But
Yeah,
at the
it's
same
just
time,
another
YouTube
it's another
TV is my
example of-
TV
Right, you got it.
provider, and I get a discount for having both YouTube Premium and YouTube TV. So, there you go.
Yeah, but like that's Google's MO right there. Like, I mean, there's just this, they started something and they're selling off. But I'm interrupting the intros, am I or not?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. But hey,
I told you. I
you're
told you,
next up on the intro. You're next up. What you been playing, or besides Twitter?
Well, shit, I've been playing a lot of Twitter because Xbox got no games. So the only games that I can play is like Twitter games. No, look, what have I been playing? Well, I've been playing a lot of Grounded. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. I kind of roll into
Are you
our
serious?
server
As
and-
much as I've seen you on there,
Yeah, I build stuff, and then we've got a whole bunch of people in our server, and they'll have done a whole bunch of stuff while I'm out of the server, and then I'll come back in and I'll be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
I got you.
So I don't know what the hell's going on half the time. What else have I been playing? I've been playing. I'm going through the Last of Us remake with the New Game Plus. Just kind of started it. Man, that's a great game, but just it's such a shame that that they charge $70 for something that should have been termed a remaster instead of a remake. But other than that, man, I've been keeping it pretty chill. I'm just waiting for this October slate, the full slate to start. This is the month everyone's going to look back on from 2023 and go, that's when it started. This is when it started. It started in October of 2022.
I mean,
I think you're right on this
yeah,
one.
you hit the nail right on the head because from here until the foreseeable future, we've just got game after game after game after game.
No.
Even in Callisto Protocol, 1st of December, got Modern Warfare 2 in 3 weeks. We've got
Plague's Tale,
Plague's Tale
Yeah.
coming.
Scoring.
Gotham Knights,
I'm a golfer, so I'm looking forward to PGA 2K23,
right? Yeah.
which is actually made 4K 60 frames a second for the new consoles instead of getting the boost with the last gen version. I'm looking forward to that. 60 frames a second, seeing my ball go across the green. Can't wait. But yeah, November is going to be the start of everybody's new backlog because we all already have an old backlog. The new backlog starts now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get another hard drive because I don't like having to re-download shit.
Yeah, well, if you
Mr.
buy that
Bushido.
proprietary gear over here, it's $700, man. As much as the console, pretty much.
What?
Sorry, you go.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
What? It's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 terabyte hard drive over there is $700.
Mm-hmm. 700.
Wow, that's crazy. What is the Australian dollar? What's the exchange rate?
About 62 cents, I think. So, yeah.
Okay, so 62 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, about that. Give or take. That was yesterday, though. Could have changed.
All right, Mr. Bush, the professional. What have you been playing, man? I've seen you online. I saw you sitting in the lobby for State of Decay 2 the other day? Did
Was
I
I?
make you want to go back and play that?
If I did, I probably. All right, listen. Sometimes, and just follow the bouncing ball on this one. Sometimes the game gets turned on by accident because I'll plug in the charger for the controller, and it'll turn back on, and I don't realize it. And I don't know if that might have been one of those instances, but I do know that I have been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. For some reason with Cyberpunk, I can only play for like an hour, maybe 2 hours at a time, and then I have to play something else. I don't know why. It's not like I don't like the game, but it's not holding me. But I do like the game though. And I got Shipbreaker on my list to play next. And I want to go back and finish Iki Island on PlayStation. So that's about it. Oh, and I finished Tinykins.
I
finished that.
I couldn't do that with Ghost of Tsushima, man. I did the bottom of the island. It's a great game. The same sort of thing as Cyberpunk, though. But I did the bottom of the island, right? I went to the top of the island. Did everything because I'm a completionist. I went to the top of the island, right? And then at the bottom of the island, all the stuff that I'd done came back up red, and I needed to do it again. I was like, nah.
No. See, I'm not doing that either. Yeah, I'm not. Nah, I'm not in the mood for that either. No, I'll play the expansion I'm talking about, but besides that, no. If I listen, I know you guys all had this happen before. Everyone's had it happen where you play a game, and for some strange reason, you'll lose your information. You might have put in like 10 hours worth of gameplay. I'm not playing that game right immediately. I might not even play it again this year. If all my memory is lost, my saves are gone, and I got to replay the game from the beginning, and I put in 10, 15 hours. It's like, nope.
So
nope, not going to play it again. Not until
story about that.
What you got?
So back when Watch Dogs Legions came out, and Wilmyhood, shout out to Wilmyhood, he was mentioning how he had like 14 hours in the game, and then just his save file just corrupted. He couldn't use it. And I remember telling him on his show, I was a guest, I was like, that's never happened to me. In the very next day, I had never lost any game data whatsoever. And then the very next day, I was playing shoot, I can't remember the game. It's like the horror / medium. I was playing medium, and I was 3/4 of the way through medium. And I went to start. It was on a quick resume, and there was something wrong with the quick resume, and it must have taken out my save file too. It's because I tried to quick resume, and I was able to quick resume into the game, but when I died, it took me back to the menu, and I went to load game. There was no game there.
Now that happened recently with Phoenix Rising. It had corrupted like I don't know how many of my save files. I had to go back about 2 hours. That's not bad. I still didn't want to do it.
Tell me
but
you
it was
at
only
least
went
hours. Through all the intros where you got all your equipment already.
Oh yeah. Oh no. This is like
bad.
Yeah, no. This is like 3/4 of the way through the game, and so it was okay. You know, all I did was farm, so that's why those 2 hours wasn't that bad. But at the same time, I didn't like it. But I forgot about it after playing it for a little bit. But that one, oh no.
Yeah, it's crazy you guys all mentioned Ubisoft games because I had the same thing happen to me. I had when Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, I had the physical version, and I had that one in Immortals Phoenix Rising physical, but I just got sick of like having to get the disc, you know. So I sold them off, and then I got them digital versions, and I lost my saves on both of those games. I could not, had to start over from scratch. I had no save. Had to start from the beginning on both. They were both corrupted. It makes me want, is that a Ubisoft thing? Because every game that we just talked about was a Ubisoft thing.
This is the first time I ever ran into that. So
mine was with CD Projekt Red with Witcher.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had like 40 hours into the game, and I lost 20 hours from it because I did a manual save 20 hours before I hit in the 40. So I had to go back to the 20 hour manual save, and that really just killed the game for me right there. happened to me. I was so mad. You know how long? You know how much is 20 hours in Witcher? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
That's a
That
lot.
game. That game's a slow burn. That's for sure. It's a
Yes.
good game, but it is a
It's a good game.
slow burn.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Crazy Louis Gaming. Other than your loss of 20 hours in Witcher 3, what have you been playing this week, brother?
Oh man, I've been playing grounded with the guys, having a lot of fun. I've been trying to learn like brisket, running around, breaking acorns and doing a bunch of crazy stuff, trying to build, pretty fun game. And I started playing Cyberpunk. I've been having a lot of fun with Cyberpunk. Awesome game, awesome story. Just getting attached to it. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff.
It is. It is. And I really, even when I started playing Cyberpunk 2077, I was playing on the Series X. And so we saw minor glitches where, stuff would be floating in the air that enemies dropped. But we didn't see the game breaking crap that everybody else saw. Now I played it for this is just a portion of the 6 hours of it that I played Monday, or was it Sunday? But either way, it was flawless all the way through. It was great.
I saw a couple of cars flying and stuff like that, but that doesn't bother me though. I'm like, oh, there's a car, just keep going.
As long as they're not flying into me, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And messing me up.
Look, I don't think it was that. I always say that this game's trash, and I mean it. But like the reason that I say it, right, and a lot of people disagree with me or whatever. Have you played the game? Yeah, I played the game for a bit. Didn't really have any bugs because I played it on the Series X first. But my problem was what I got wasn't what was promised to me. And what I got was what I consider to be a lesser experience than a 360 game in GTA 5. So, like, it's probably got a good story. I went through one of the a small tiny bit of the story arc, not a lot. I probably should play it again to form a bit of a better opinion. But what they promised us and what we got was so far apart. It was, this is going to be I was super excited. I'm like, oh, maybe all the buildings will be open. You can get into them. And, it's not just set dressing. And, the NPCs are going to be doing some crazy shit. There's going to be great physics. And, and then we got in there and there's hardly any NPCs. The cops just turn up behind you, like out of thin air. Like, how the fuck did they get there? Like, you can't go up in any of the big buildings. Like, the car physics were just horrific.
I don't like the car physics either.
Yeah,
like the way it drives, I still don't like it.
And and me and Jedi Knight Pete, who you've had on the show a few times, and who's on my show Xbox Infinite, 8 p.m. Friday. But like, me and him go back and forth all the time. But you cannot argue, and he doesn't normally. He just goes, yeah, that's true, but it's still a good game. It just doesn't stack up to GTA 5, and the game could have been so much more. There could have been so much better. There was more to do in that game, development-wise, to make it the game that they promised us, but they pushed it out the damn door. And I don't blame the devs for this one at all. This is all suits.
Yeah. 100%. Oh yeah. I think it was too ambitious though. It was a lot that they wanted to do in the game. I don't know if they took in consideration the memory that they had to use and the time frame that. Just in case you have a bug or an issue comes up, how long will it take to fix it and everything? I mean, I know none of us always look at something with the chance of an error happening, but it's just one of them things, man. I wish it would have been that game too, but what you gonna do? It's still a good game so far, like I said, but I do remember all the things they promised, and that's why most of the time when studios promise certain things, I usually take it with a grain of salt because we get promised so many things that almost never come through. So, hopefully.
343. Please tell me you are.
Yeah, especially. Yeah.
See, I can say that because Fabio is absent tonight, and he'd already be getting on me right now about shooting down 343.
Hey, listen, we haven't gone a week yet. With last 6 weeks, I think we haven't. we haven't not talked about them. Yeah.
He's like, oh, here we go. We're gonna bash 343 again.
Yep.
Ronnie Ross.
That's Risky's topic every single week. Bash.
Is it?
There it is.
Yeah, man.
You're
I-
going
Listen, but I have to agree. He was right about Ronnie Ross. He was right about that a long time ago, and I didn't want to agree with him, but nah, I gotta agree now.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I've been saying it for every week. We talk about it. We do joke about it in the behind the scenes, like how often we talk about the damn game. But like, it's always out of love, man. I love that game. That game's bones are so solid. It's ridiculous. And I just do not understand how they can just mess up so badly, like again and again and again. They're like the PlayStation of Xbox right now. I don't understand how they just keep making these mistakes and thinking it's going to be okay. But I think it's genuine, like they can't do better, as opposed to PlayStations just won't do better.
I can agree
All
with
right,
that.
shout
yeah.
out to the chat for everybody in the chat. Thember, Boba Fett Gaming, Palpatine. We've got the Xbox International Podcast stop by, Mr. Jonah Dark. It's great to see all of y'all here tonight, and we're getting ready to get into some topics.
All right.
So the first topic that we're going to get into is, God, I really wish Fabio would have been here tonight because he lives in Brazil, and something funny came out of Brazil today. I think Brazil may have given Sony one of these. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Brazil came out and said that their regulatory committee said our job is to protect the consumer and not you from your competitors. Burn!
Ooh, damn, that was harsh.
It was quoted. That was an excerpt was actually pulled. Randall Thor shared it earlier.
Let me put this on because I see everybody's got their glasses on, so I'm gonna put mine on. Yep. Let's go for it, baby.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Put my
Satya
sunglasses.
Nadella said, "Then let us compete."
Bob, you want to know the funniest thing about this whole thing? And it's so funny how reactionary that these ponies are. They're already screenshots on Twitter of guys saying that Microsoft paid Brazil. They paid the country of Brazil in order to
get that to go through,
say what they needed to say. When in all actuality, right? Like at the end of the day, all they're telling you is that they understand what their job is, right? Which is like protecting their consumers and not Sony or PlayStation's best interests, right? At the end of the day, nothing that they're purchasing, exactly, like nothing that they're purchasing is absolutely necessary to stay in an open market in order for Sony or any other brand to stay relevant. I mean, look at Nintendo. Nintendo hasn't had a Call of Duty on it since the original Black Ops, and it was awful, and look where Nintendo's at right now. They're literally number one. They sell like gangbusters. So that you can't sit here and use that. Now, what Sony is doing is they are squirming because they know, and I think that at this point, I think everybody knows, because if Saudi Arabia, Brazil, I mean, it's just going to start, the dominoes are going to start falling, and this deal is going to go through, and they understand that the writing is on the wall. And regardless of what people say, or, oh, you can't be big bad Microsoft, they could very easily, if they wanted to, either just cut it off of the PlayStation ecosystem, or, hey, we're going to take 2 or 3 years to try to make Call of Duty quote unquote better, or at the end of the day, they have no say in what they do with that IP once it's purchased by Microsoft. Walking up to Activision with a big pile of money and say, hey, give us exclusive maps and exclusive, things is a lot different than walking, into Microsoft and trying to negotiate that same way, and it's going in Game Pass. So
I want to just reiterate here that yes, so they do have an agreement for 3 games, 2 years left, and they've signed a 3-year extension. And let's just be serious here. If Saudi Arabia and Brazil have both said no restrictions. If everybody says no restrictions, I don't think there'll be a meeting about another contract extension in 5 years. I think Xbox is going to run with it and say, no, you just don't have it no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see
because
that. Yeah.
the 3-year extension seems like a last ditch effort, and really what Sony's trying to do is they're just trying to buy time, right? Like they're trying to buy time until if I'm sitting in that office trying to figure it out, they're probably praying, hoping one of their games as a service games takes off, because they're looking for a way to try to renew that money because they make 135 to 150 million dollars a year off of these Call of Duty releases on PlayStation. So that's a major chunk of their money that's going to be basically taken or messed with. So they're looking for a way to recoup that money, and that these extensions and these deals are giving them the time they probably feel they need to figure something else out, because at the end of the day, the marketing deal goes away and it goes in Game Pass. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long they have the game. They can put PlayStation on all they want. If it drops in Game Pass, who cares what the end of the commercial says? You know what I mean? That's all.
That's
go ahead.
110% bang on. You made a good point there. What they're stalling for, though, is really obvious. But they know they can't stop the deal. So someone asked me the other day what's likely to happen. So if they do, if Sony can get the CMA to they can't block the deal, right? They can recommend against it. So if they recommend against it, it goes to litigation. All that happens if it goes to litigation, because it will go through, is that it draws out the process, maybe tax on another year, maybe 2, maybe 3, right?
I don't even think it'd do that, but yeah.
Sony wants to do is draw it out for as long as they can, because they've got 12 games as a service, in the works. They want to get some of those games as a service to market because they know that they can compete with COD. They just need to know, what have we got that's going to work. That's why they got 12. They're basically, for want of a better phrase, throwing shit at a wall and hoping something will stick. And that's what a lot of companies do with. It's pretty rare that they release the games as a service and it just lands straight away. Fortnite didn't land. It either takes a lot of work on the one game that you released, or you release a few, hope that one hits, and go for it. Like Epic have got 2 that they're willing to work on them. Fortnite was terrible when it released. Now it's one of the biggest things out there. Even some of the, dealers playing Fortnite right now. Colt, I've seen Rand. These guys are playing it.
How about PUBG when it released? PUBG was horrible.
Yeah,
Man.
Exactly. But it's very rare that a game lands like Apex, the way that Apex and Warzone landed. So Sony knows this, and they can't. I don't think that you've got to know exactly what's going to land. So I think that they're just stalling for time, get as much of that development done as they can, so that when Xbox does acquire ABK and they do end up having the Call of Duty IP, that PlayStation has something to go against them with.
So what you're saying, Brisket, is that pretty much they're pushing their development teams to work as fast as they can before the Activision deal goes through?
I don't know if they're pushing them as fast as they can. I wouldn't do that if I was Sony, but I know that that's what they're doing. They're going to buy time. At the moment, they've got nothing to compete with what Microsoft is doing, and they know it. Like,
They did it with Horizon. Look what happened with Horizon Forbidden West when it released. It was a mess. It literally took them how much? Or was it 2 or 3 months to fix the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
And it wasn't bricking. It was bricking consoles too. Like it was
actually
killing consoles.
I remember that. It was wiping memories and breaking consoles. Yep.
I can't. Today you posted on Twitter about God of War, and I'm still waiting for some news on God of War. I'm in the same spot as you are. I think it's gonna have a delay. If they don't, I don't know how that game is gonna come out. I'm scratching my head about it. I'm worried about that.
I've never seen a game get a delay that has a date, but at the same time, you're not really advertising the game.
Yeah,
what you talking? Did you just say God of War?
Yeah,
God of War. Yeah.
Oh my man! Listen. Right, I'm saying here we go. Right, here we go. So I did a lot of research. I'm sorry, Bob. We're just hijacking the show. I did a lot of research the other
Bob's
day, and
used
I
to
spoke.
it.
You know,
I spoke at length to with Huggy. He's one of the smartest men in our community. Me and him went back and forth quite a bit, and we did quite a bit of research. And then I made some phone calls. I called up the brick and mortar store where I have a pre-order there, and I speak to the girls there all the time because I go and I buy a lot of physical. So I spoke to her. They haven't even got a confirmation of shipping yet. So like normally they'll get a confirmation that they're shipping the game once it's gone gold. We haven't heard anything about it going gold, right? God of War 2018 went gold a month before it released, but that development was troubled, and we know they were working on the game right up until it launched. The Last of Us remake part 1, that went gold and was announced 6 weeks ahead of time. So there's a lot, right? And we haven't seen a state of play. Like they tacked on a little bit of gameplay on the back of the last state of play, but they haven't given it its own. It's a tentpole title, man. It's one of their biggest, and it doesn't have its own state of play. I'm telling, look, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I think this game's getting delayed. It may be just by a couple of weeks, man. It might be a month. I don't know, but like I'm pretty sure this game's going to get delayed. I think there's something going on. Otherwise, we would have seen or heard something. It would have at least gone gold. And like I said, brick and mortar stores haven't even got a notification of shipping yet. So that's weird, man. Very weird to me. Seems like something's going on.
When is it releasing? November what? November 9th, isn't it? Or 8th?
Yeah.
And we're in October. Yep. You're probably right, though, Risky.
Oh, goodness.
A month away, literally. A month away.
Mr. Bushido, I'm watching that show with you just by hearing.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It sounds pretty interesting. What are you watching, Mr. Bushido?
I'm playing Cyberpunk.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, it was a side mission. Some guy got shot, and he wanted me to run to him to a Ripper. And so he's sitting there fussing in the car, and I'm like, shut up. So I'm trying to run him to the Ripper, and we ran to a light, and it stopped the vehicle.
So
Then he started tripping more.
When I started doing podcasts, and I was a panelist on the Xbox Live Party podcast, shout out to those guys. They would get on these rants where they would all just start talking with each other. And then the next thing, and we were all on camera. We were always on camera. And the next thing you would know, they'd look over and Bob would be on camera with his controller like this. And that would cue them to bring me into the conversation. And they were like, so what are you playing right now, Bob? And I'd be like, this isn't an intro.
Oh, man. Listen, I know a bunch of guys I used to do pods with. And when they would get quiet, I would go right on Xbox Live, like, all right, let me see who I'm gonna catch. And so I would DM them like, ooh, I'm telling you in the game, stuff like that. They were playing the game, so it was always funny to see that, especially as everybody knows everybody. So I can't believe you guys can hear it. I turned it down low too.
Oh, it was coming through real good.
It's just Mike. Yeah, it's just Mike.
I thought you were watching like Child's Play or something. I was like, man, oh, that's screaming.
No, man, dude is just wailing.
Watching Final 13 or something weird going on, man.
No, dude just keep wailing because I think he got shot in the junk or something. But yeah, I would be too, so I can't really blame him.
Don't pick on the peasants. Crazy Lui Gaming.
What's up?
So what is down there where you live at? What is the outlook on the whole Brazil thing? Have you gotten a feel for it yet?
Where I live here, Dominican?
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta tell you something though. Dominican Republic is full PlayStation side. They're
Really?
slow. Yep, they're slowly. And Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo, that's number one.
Oh, I figured that. Nintendo's everything, so I wouldn't even add them or nothing.
No. Number two is PlayStation, and then you got Xbox and PC and stuff like that. It's not that common to find an Xbox person or a PC gamer, but little by little, everybody's getting into it because they're seeing Game Pass and how it's changing. I mean, I had 5 friends that were on the PlayStation, and I sat down with them one day and said, "Hey, listen, this is what you get an Xbox." I had a little bit of conversation. They're like, "Okay, let me give it a shot." They got a Series S. 5 days later, boom. They got their Series X, and they're really happy about it. But here, people are just not. They're noticing about it, and they're like, okay, but not talking a lot about it with me, because imagine that. All they want is the deal to not go through, because they want PlayStation to have their games. They want Call of Duty over there, and they want their exclusive content. And since they root for PlayStation, so yeah, it's pretty hard to find people like to support me on this deal.
I mean, I try and say that I'm center green, because I mean the community that I interact with is on Xbox, and so that's what pulls me to the green side.
Yep.
But I've got both consoles, and I enjoy gaming, but I will not hesitate to call it out when there is some shady, whiny shit going on. And I swear, for the last 2 years, all that shitty, whiny shit has been on PlayStation side. I can't complain about anything other than delays and Halo. I can't complain about anything Xbox has done. I can't.
Here's the thing, though: their narratives are getting smaller and smaller each single day. I mean, they every time they like, for example, Xbox has no games. What was the other one? Risk It. You know all of them, because you're the Sony killer out there.
Yeah, that's not the games they got coming. PlayStation, they got Forspoken. They've got God of War Ragnarok, Forspoken, and apparently Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee you're going to get Spider-Man 2 Insomniac or Wizards. But I don't know, man.
That's another one, man. We haven't heard anything yet on Spider-Man.
And
nothing.
We won't hear. We probably will hear something, but we won't hear that much about it, because seriously, when the pandemic struck, that literally tore down everybody's rhythm, killed the rhythm.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when it's usually ready with Sony, they give you a release date a year in advance, even if they got to flip it. They do it all the time, where the game is supposed to be released this time, and they're like, we had to bump it back. Big deal. I don't have a problem with it either. But we're not even getting a date. That's weird to me.
That's why you're getting a bunch of third-party exclusives, because that's what they're trying to sign up, because
fill up that spot.
Yeah, they're trying to fill for that. And not only that, they're also making a lot of remasters, Yep. I mean, we're getting Horizon Remaster, which is pretty loved, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Horizon Remaster.
Remasters of remakes of remasters of remakes of remasters.
Oh, don't get me started with the last
remaster makes.
Remaster remake. Oh,
remaster makes. Yeah.
All right, look, chat. We're going to move on to the next topic, but go ahead and let us know in the chat what you all think. First and foremost, about the Brazil saying yay to the acquisition with no restrictions, because this couldn't come up at a better time, because our next topic is, has Sony become the remake masters? And what's better, getting a next-gen remake or having smart delivery with Xbox, where they don't expect you to buy the game again to get the upgrades that have been given to the game?
It's a dumb question.
Well, apparently Twitter thinks it's not a dumb question. I'd
rather pay for it.
I've seen that in polls. I've seen that in polls. I've seen that, and I'm like, why are you asking this question? Like, obviously, it'd be better if you're a PlayStation dude, and you're setting this up so that everybody can answer for PlayStation. I've been going to check on those polls either. I need to do that, because I love it when the poll goes left and then they close it down because it went so far left. So I love it when it happens. Listen, I got to screenshot it. I know you're going to delete it, but I'm screenshotting. Yeah, I think that it's funny to see people say that, because you should obviously get it for free if you can. Why would that be a bad thing? But you do see PlayStation guys saying, well, the devs, I love when they keep putting the devs in it as if the devs don't get paid a salary. I have screamed that for years. Stop saying the devs. You mean the studio? The studio is the one who wants the money. The publisher is the one that wants the money. But the devs, they get a salary. Regardless of how the game sells or whatever, they get a salary. Yeah, they get a bonus if the game sells even better. as long as you don't have Randy Pitchford as your CFO. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to keep bringing that up every time, but I just can't stand that dude. Like that was just so grimy to take 30 million and not even share it with your team, and your team is the one who built the game. You just squat, and your team built the game, and it exceeded expectations. I bought the game day one, loved it.
Standing on the backs of your workers, and you get a bonus, and you don't share shit.
Yo, and the funny part was it's an option. It was an option. I was like, well, that's kind of a trap because if you give most people the option, they're gonna want to keep it. But the option, if you were a decent human being, you gotta say, like, yeah, my team killed it. I wouldn't get this bonus if it wasn't for them. And he didn't share a plucking nickel with here I go again. Now I'm going on a tangent on him. So anyway, but that's the deal though. The studio is the one who really gets the money though. So I'll just leave it at that. Just because I'm gonna keep going with that tangent on him.
Yeah, so I will bring it up though because I've seen it on Twitter. So I've gotten every upgrade ever since I bought Skyrim. I was before we had Game Pass, before we got these first party games in Game Pass, before Game Pass was the home of our first party content on Xbox. Have I plugged it Game Pass enough? I paid for Skyrim. I paid for my games, and up until now, I've gotten everything that's been added to Skyrim. And now I understand that there is a PC version coming out of Skyrim. What is it, an anniversary?
I think so,
that
yeah.
It's supposed to have new assets and everything. But is that even going to be full price, or is that going to be included for the people that...
You got me on that one. Yeah.
I don't think the specifics have come out if you already paid for Skyrim, whether or not what's that going to entail. But until now,
how we go from bashing PlayStation to bashing Xbox? What the?
Well, no. I'm sorry. I should have stated the topic the way I meant it to be stated. The topic is remake versus smart delivery.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, well, that's a two-pronged question. Yeah, it really was. It's actually more of a three-pronged question because you got your remasters, you got your remakes, you got your smart deliveries. Are we excluding all remasters? Are we excluding those or no?
Remasters on what? Just Sony side?
Like anywhere? Are we excluding remasters from the conversation? Because it's kind of nuanced, right? Because this is the thing. Like, all right, I don't expect to get a Resident Evil 2 or 3 for free. Like, I don't expect to get that. I don't expect to get a Dead Space smart delivered to me, like, because I played the Dead Space back in 2003 or whenever the game came out, right? I don't expect that. Like, that's absolutely fine. I don't even expect it at a reduced price. Like this whole thing that's going on at the moment where people are saying like, oh, no one's complaining about the Dead Space remake being $70, but you complained about The Last of Us. First of all, The Last of Us was a remaster. I've played it. I'm now playing it second time. I've played it. I don't give a shit what you say. I played it. I spoke to a developer. He told me what he did. The only part of that game, the only one single part of that game that is a fucking remake is the cutscenes. And the guy that I spoke to did that. That's Rob. You can find him on Twitter. He did that. He had
Wait. The same Rob that posted, this is the most ambitious something project and most proud of project I've ever worked on? That Rob?
Yeah, look, that's the Rob. That's the Rob. But I mean, he was all for saying it's a remake. But I asked a few pertinent questions. Did you port the code in? Did you strip to the wireframe? Did you use the same animations? And he's like, I didn't work on that. But yeah, I mean, like, well, obviously you did because you can see it in the game, right?
Right.
You can see it in the game. He couldn't obviously answer all the questions, but he gave me enough for me to go, thank you for confirming what I already knew.
Right.
So the only part of that was a remake to me was, this is getting off track, is the cutscenes, because he had to rebuild those because they were not in-game engine, gameplay driven. It wasn't done in the engine. It was done as a cutscene and brought in, right? So he had to do that from scratch, which is cool. That's fine. Not a remake, it's a remaster. Don't charge me $70 for that. I didn't pay $70.
And you're forgetting the most important part, but keep on going.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's a smart delivery to me. Maybe with the graphical fidelity, the way that it was done, that to me is like, all right, 40, 50. I'll even accept 60, right? Fine. No worries. It probably should have been a smart delivery.
Risky, you know what you forgot? You forgot that they also put half a game, because remember 2013 you got the multiplayer. And
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
So the difference between that and Dead Space is Dead Space is giving you the full entire game completely remade from the ground up, not ported in, right? They've done new animations, they've done new everything. Everything's been built from the ground up, and they are giving you content that they could not do with the tech they had back then. So not only do you get all the content you already had, but you get content that you couldn't get back then in the new game. So you get a whole bunch of new content. Now that, whether it's, if you like $70 games, you don't like $70 games, that's just where we're at. That's why no one's complaining about that game.
Yeah,
it was remade from the ground up, and it's never been remastered before, and you're getting more than you got back in the day. So that's a dumbass, stupid fucking argument that I've seen these ponies coming out with. And I'll even call out Nib, stop your stupid cap shit. Like, it's done.
Your nemesis Nib again.
Yeah,
I think a good comparison is like the original Final Fantasy VII and the Final Fantasy VII remake, right? Like, if you just got the original PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy VII at 120 FPS, it's not going to compare to the Final Fantasy VII remake in scope, in shaders, graphics, textures. It doesn't even look like the same game, right? So that's the big difference. Like, for me, that's why I think that it's really consumer friendly with the Series X and S enhancements, because I don't think you should have to pay for higher frame rates and better performance if you purchase a box that is intended on giving you higher frame rates and better performance. If you go from an Xbox One to a Series X and you own a video game, then you should be able to play that game at its highest potential fidelity on that new system. You know what I mean? Versus if they went back and they did, a Fable remake from Fable 1 and completely changed it, there would be no comparison in how that game would look now versus then.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a massive difference. Whereas with The Last of Us, it's comparable. Like, it's way better. The remaster is way better. Like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful and all that, but like, it's really not that much of a stark difference, where you can see the stark difference between Dead Space and it's not. I mean, look, it's not just graphic. Look, this is the thing. You got to define what a remake and a remaster is. And another good one, a good example is Dark Souls. A lot of people will push back against Dark Souls and they'll say that was a remaster. A lot of Xbots, right? That's not true. That game was a remake. It never had omnidirectional rolling or movement. You could move forward, side to side, and back. You could not go diagonally, right? So they added that to the game. That fundamentally changes the way the game's played. That is a remake. If you add content, you add content. Well, it is not for you, but I think for the definition, if you add gameplay mechanic changes, new content in the way, or new level design, or something that fundamentally adds to the game, that's a remake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't complain about that one though. I really can't. It's the thinnest of lines that I could say that's as far as it goes, or the least you could do for me to say a remake. And real quick before we get back on subject, Bob, your hands are not nice. Your hands are not nice at all. I can't believe you let that bot drop you right outside the ring. If you need help, I'm just with Xbox. I'm just an Xbox Live call away.
Really? My man got cleaned up. At least I got gameplay.
He got cleaned up by by that robot from that Hugh Jackman movie. You guys remember that?
Yeah, exactly. Real steel. Real steel.
That's right. They're
Clean
talking
his ass
smack.
up.
Game set live. I got gameplay and cams.
Yeah, but you getting knocked out though. Like I ain't getting knocked. Like you barely. No, but you flailing your arms like you're trying to
I
fly.
eventually take him out. I promise you. You'll see.
Yeah, but you threw so many punches that like.
That's it. No more gameplay.
Yeah, right. He's like, you guys are watching Grounded from now on. I don't care.
Oh, you done! I done lost my train of thought. I was getting ready to say something when he said something, and I just
Yeah.
And that's
So
when you
I
get
was
knocked out the ring. I was like, I gotta say something.
it's not. It's a case by case. In answer to your question, it's a very case by case basis.
Yeah.
If you're telling me, should I get it? Should I get smart delivery for The Last of Us 2? Yes. Are you saying should I get smart delivery for The Last of Us 2 and it's better than the Dead Space remake? No. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I assume so. Right? So, like, it's very case by case there. But if you're gonna give me Horizon Forbidden West, man, or Horizon Zero Dawn remake, yeah. Give me smart delivery, dude. I ain't paying for that. And I wouldn't play that game anyway because it's trash.
Wow.
So, shout out to Thember, our number one fan in the chat. I'm sure he's the number one fan for a lot of podcasts because that man must live on.
I don't
YouTube.
know, man. I'm gonna go with Tony Two Fingers on that one. I don't know.
I don't know who Tony Two Fingers is.
Tony Grasso? Tony Two Fingers Grasso. What are you talking about?
He's never been in my chat. I don't know who he is.
No, Tony Two Fingers? Are you kidding me? Tony Two Fingers is always here. Hey, Tony, forget about what he just said. Forget about it.
Thember asked remaster, remake, or demake. Can you all think of any game that's been a demake? Did they ever come up with anything that actually went backwards?
It almost sounds like the thing on Young Justice when they said, how come everybody's underwhelmed? How come nobody's ever just whelmed? That's what it almost sounds like.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah, but I just think that smart delivery is Xbox is kind of exposing certain things in the industry that it shows that it doesn't have to be done. You know how everybody always say like, well, the devs had to do a lot of work to do this. For frames per second, you've noticed that we've got our own whatchamacallit boost for that. And they just have to have the okay from the studio that they could do it. And when a studio doesn't give the okay, to me, it kind of shows that, like, what are your plans then? Because if they could do it for you, why are you complaining? Or why are you not letting them do it? And if it could be done on a hardware level, like, it shows that you don't have a whole lot of work you have to do. I've asked guys before, too, hey, when you guys do this, how long does it take? Does it take a lot of work? And they're like, no. I forgot what it was. It was something that someone was complaining about for PlayStation, and they were saying that, well, devs got to do a lot of work on it. So I remember asking a guy about it, a dev about it, and he was like, look, he said, you could take a team of 4, and they get knocked out on the weekend. I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, he said, it's not a lot of work. He said, everybody doesn't have to be involved in that. So I was like, wow. But they make it sound like everybody has to be involved whenever you listen to fanboys. Like, nah, that's a lot of work. You know, just to find a reason to pay PlayStation. Nah, I had it right the first time.
So, I think we're all in agreement. Game upgrades for free beat out having to pay for a remake.
But I'll take a remake though. I'm not even gonna lie. If you give me a real remake, I'm on for it.
Like, for example, Resident Evil 2. That's a real remake.
Yes. All the Resident Evils, those are remakes, yes.
No, not the first one was a remaster though.
No, not that one. Yeah, anything after 2. Yeah, everything after 2.
I thought they were all remakes because I played the first one remake.
The first one was more of a remaster because they did a combo of Resident Evil 1 and I forgot which the other one was. It wasn't 0, but they did 2 of those and they just remastered it, made it look a lot.
Nope. Yeah.
Was it
Hey, oh,
No,
it
they
was a
did do
remake.
Veronica. They did do Veronica too. They did upgrade that one, but there was another one that went on that disc for Resident Evil when they did the remaster. But it looks good though. Like I will play it today. It still looks old, but it's playable at
It
least.
looks good. It looks good. It looks good.
Yeah, yeah, it looks
It's
good. Yeah,
HD remastered. It looks good.
right. But the from Resident Evil 2, 3, of course 4 is coming, and they were thinking about going back and doing the first one. I'm still for it. I don't know why I like those remakes because those are games that I played when I was younger, and I would like to experience it again. In a different format. That gives me a reason to play it again. I don't like to replay it again if I don't have to on the same game. It gives me more. I'll put it that way to play for if it's a game that's remade.
Mm. So you all ready to move on to the next one?
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Go.
We can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah.
I mean, well, all right. Free games are good. Hail
Yeah.
Xbox. Chat, let us know your final thoughts on whether or not you would. I'm sure it's a case by case basis because some remakes we've already seen a remaster of it. A remake is just sounds to me like a money grab. But if it's a game that
From
is
Sony's
really
side, at
old,
least.
yeah, well, if it's a game that's seen its age and it's iconic, like Resident Evil 2, and we've not really seen anything done to the game in several years, and then they want to completely redo it in the fashion that they've redone it, hell yeah, I'll pay for that. I love that. But if it's already had a remaster and you're just bringing out something on the next gen that can only be on the next gen, and I don't know about now. Let us know, chat. Hey, shout out to Sour Blow, new in
Sour
the chat.
Blue,
Shout out to Infinite Umbra stopping by saying what's
Mini Me.
up. Yeah, yeah, he's your second you. If he was on here, you all wouldn't talk at the same time. Actually, we should do that. We should have you both on and y'all talk at the same time.
Yeah,
That would
him,
crush.
You
Umbra
had
and
us
Buscemi
both on
together.
before.
Did you talk at this? Oh, you didn't talk at the same. You took
Yes,
turns.
we did.
Oh,
Yes, we
I'll
did.
have to go back
Don't
and
even do that.
chat. Go back several episodes and find the episode Umber's on. I want to hear it. I want you to clip and cut that shit. I want it on Twitter by tomorrow. I want to hear one of them talking and then one of them answering. I got to run it through spectral
Good
analysis
Lord.
and see if there's actually a difference in their voices.
No, man, it is absolutely a difference in voices. Don't do that. That's not
Mm,
even true. Umbra, speak up.
mm.
Oh, and Silent Cipher and Hargeek Chani. Shout out to you
Hergy.
guys. So,
Silent, sour.
yeah, Sour Blow. That's a new one. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Or ma'am, whichever it may be.
No,
We're
it's a,
glad
it's
to
a
have
fella.
you.
That's
It's
Louis' compadre.
compadre. Yep.
So, our next topic. I've seen a lot of back and forth. My buddy John Blue, Power Man knows him. I'm sure the rest of you probably know John Blue too. But when we first started this podcast endeavor, before I was picked up with Xbox Live Party Podcast, we had our own podcast. I can't even remember what Power. Do you remember what that podcast was called?
man, I was literally just sitting here like, man, what was? I was like, what?
I can't remember.
It's been so long, man. Like, and
I know it's been
it
so
was
long,
only
I
a
can't
couple
remember, but
episodes, before we
John
joined
Blue,
up.
we only had a couple episodes, and John Blue was a panelist, so we keep in touch on Twitter, and so there's been a
John,
lot of talk about
real quick.
this.
John Blue's profile picture, isn't it? It's
Mass
Shepherd, right?
Effect.
Or is it?
Yeah, he's a huge.
Yeah.
Mass Effect
Okay.
guy.
Okay. Yes, I do know you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, I follow him too. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk here lately about the slip space to Unreal, and I would just like to iron out some facts on how that got started. So that whole rumor got started because 343 Industries co-developer with Infinite is Certain Affinity. And Certain Affinity is tasked right now with developing a big new game mode for Infinite. And it has been confirmed by everybody else, except for the horse's mouth, that this brand new game mode is being built on Unreal Engine 5. I don't know if this is going to be a standalone game mode. I mean, if it's on a different engine, it would almost have to be. But as the talk has been going back and forth on Twitter, it has come out that it's starting to look like Infinite's going to stay on Slipspace, but that Halo franchise moving forward is going to move to Unreal Tournament. But whether or not there's going to be a change from engines for Infinite, it right now is uncertain. We are pretty sure that the next Halo game will not be on Slipspace. With that being said, Bushido was talking to a developer last week, and he was explaining to us the differences between going from one engine to the next and how difficult it would be. And it really comes down to what computer language was used when they built that engine. If it's a move from an engine that is C hash to C plus, then you could be looking at a minimum of 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
To 3 to 6 months. To give you a little bit of a basis, the Unity engine is a C hash, but Unreal is a C plus as far as computer language goes and commands. And keep in mind that we're talking about a Windows environment, and if you don't know it or not, the core of an Xbox system is the Windows core, so it pulls its DirectX APIs are the same APIs that you may have on your PC running your operating system. So we're talking about really this a move to another engine that is calling the same APIs. The only hard part would be, even if the languages were very, very similar, the only extreme difficulty would be the user interface from one engine to the next. And I remember talking with John Blue on Twitter, and with the Coalition, I consider the Coalition to be the masters of the Unreal Engine. We've all seen it. And with the Coalition being in Xbox's corner, I'm not putting anything past them, because the Coalition has already went, and we already have gotten, again, confirmation from everybody but the horse's mouth that State of Decay 3 will be on Unreal Engine 5. They've already went to Undead Labs to help Undead Labs out with Unreal Engine 5, because they are the masters. So if anybody can get this done in record time, then the Coalition in Xbox's corner, I think they could do it.
Yeah, look, I'll save a little bit of this for the show, but yeah, you're right. You're very, very right. When you talk about C hashes, you're talking about C sharp. So when you think about what Slipspace uses in C sharp, okay, and I believe Unreal uses C++, right? There's also a C. Right. Now, when you talk about these languages, what you're talking about is very, very, very similar languages. So if you can think about it's a type of, what's a good analogy? What's a type of Spanish, slightly different dialects, right? So like if you go to Spain, they speak totally different, not totally different, but they speak Valenciano in Valencia. Right? And then if you go to Catalana, they speak a slightly different dialect. Same language, slightly different dialects. So a lot of stuff is easy to do, but there's, like you said, Bob, exactly bang on about the UI. I don't know who you're speaking to, Bushido, but I'm speaking to some people as well. And one specifically that has an arm into 343. And he said,
same thing.
He said, look, it can be done, probably with the UI issues, the animation issues, and there's a lot of things that could be you would have to rebuild when it comes to animations and UIs. And it just depends on how much of that you need to rebuild.
Right. It's about the same thing he said to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said to me, like, it's probably you're looking at with the size of the game, size of the team, and all that. You're talking a year. He said minimum a year. So I don't know you go if you said 6, whoever you're speaking to said 6 months. This dude said like a year, like because the thing is when you're doing it and you build something and then it doesn't work, right? So you're gonna have tech debt. You're gonna have a lot of tech debt that you're gonna have to go back and fix as you go forward, right? And then you also got to get the feel right. So you can't just port it into Unreal Engine and hey, it feels just like Halo. Let's do this. This is not how it's going to work. Like they're going to have to play with it a lot. So he said minimum a year, right? Now there's also a lot of talk, and I fucking hate it, and I really want people to stop doing this. Stop talking about making a new Halo game. What you're talking about is you're talking about shelving Halo Infinite.
I've
which
heard
is
people
a
say
good
it
game,
too.
which has great bones and probably can be fixed if you give them time, right? I bitched, right? I'll continue to bitch, but I don't want them to shelve Halo Infinite. It's a great game. I want them to bring content, okay? And what you're doing is you're talking to 343, and the more people talk about this, the more they're going to listen, the more they're going to be like, these guys are cool with waiting 6 years for another Halo game. Are you cool with waiting 6 years for Halo? Like, come on, people. I am not fucking cool with that, dude. I've already waited 7 years. Then we got this. The content's not there. Whatever. I don't want to wait another 6 years. All right, a minimum 5, right? I don't want to wait another 5 years for a Halo game. Now, if you're talking about certain affinity, can they bolt on Unreal 5? That's a bit of from what I've been told, it can be done. But you would have to bolt it onto the main menu, right? So like, when how you have Call of Duty, and they've bolted Warzone on to that game.
Yep.
And you go into that menu and there's Call of Duty, that menu there. And then this menu over here, this one's Warzone, right? Well, that's what they would have to do if certain affinity is building a mode. It can be within Slipspace, and that's fine. They can do that as well. That's cool. I'm cool with that, right? Let them do that, man. Let them do that. Bolt on the UE5 version if that's what they're doing, and they can get it feeling right. And then they can work on another Halo game in a year, 2 years, once we finally got some content. Because, look, we've just changed management. Things are obviously moving and shaking in the background. Give these guys a chance to get some content out. Give these guys a chance to reshuffle, sort out their pipelines, stop talking about a new Halo game. Just support the guys that are working on this Halo game right now. I ain't going to talk shit about Halo now. It's a whole different management team. I'm going to wait, man. I'll give them a year before I start ragging on Halo Infinite again, right? And then once that's done, right, if we get to a year and we still got no content, all right, then we can have this conversation. But talking about a Halo Infinite game now is just the height of stupidity. And if 343 listen to it, and they do listen to stupid things and do stupid things, then Halo, they might do it. And if they do it, I'm going to be pissed at every single one of you, including you, Jedi Knight Peter, that's talked about a new Halo game. Every I will come for all of you, and every one of you.
I agree with Jedi Knight Peter. There should be a new Halo game just to piss you off.
I'm coming for you. I can't. But like, we waited this long, man, and yeah, it's not been great. But exactly, Sour Blow in the chat. Forge. What are you going to do with Forge?
I've been saying Forge it for a long time. We gotta be patient. All these service games take time to grab and start, their flow. And we gotta be patient. Just gotta stay still. I mean,
exactly.
Look at Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves came out probably like a year later or a year and a half later. It came out with great content. Everybody was happy with Sea of Thieves. Also, Destiny. You remember Destiny? Destiny, when Taken King came out, that's when Destiny got good. Before that, it was okay. It was okay. But yeah, it takes time. It takes time.
Exactly that. And Sourblowing, like you said, Forge is coming. Forge is slip space, right? That's going to give us content. Just everyone chill your grill. All right. They've made some pretty drastic decisions. They've done something that I've been calling
Dude,
for since day
uh,
one, right?
I said,
They've
chill
done
your
it.
grill.
I only want one thing for 343 needs to do, and that's it. I won't complain about it. That's the only thing I want 343 to do is to have a mode where I can select just Team Slayer for big battle mode instead of having me select. If I go to big team battle, I have to play C thing, flag thing. No. Just let me select Slayer. That's it, and just let me play Slayer. If they
Oh man,
do
there's
that,
plenty. The region select. You want a region select as well, I imagine, right? Because then
yeah.
you're playing on servers in America. That's no good. There's plenty of shit they're going to do. Just give them the damn time. Now we got new management.
That's the only thing I want. Other than that, then I wait for content nice and patiently. I don't, I know that they're working pretty hard.
So Thember in the chat doesn't see Halo going to Unreal Engine because it would almost be. Remember, Sony is affiliated with Epic, so it would almost
Yeah, but
be like
they only own a piece of it though. They
Yeah,
don't own
they own
them
a
or
very
anything like
small
that.
stake.
Yeah, they just own a
very
piece.
small
It's no big deal. Yeah.
he feels it's almost
Nah,
like devaluating our own creations, and at the end of the day,
No,
I
no,
don't think a
because
$1
everything
trillion
else,
company.
the real
everything
owner
else they're
of
using with Unreal 5, believe me. So
guys.
Yeah, Gears of War.
Guys,
Gears of War is a big. There's your example.
guys. Epic, Tencent is the one that owns a large portion of Epic. So shh, be quiet about it. Yeah, that's Tencent, not
Yeah.
Sony. It's Tencent.
Yeah,
40%.
they
I'm
own
sure.
the biggest. Yeah, they own a bigger part. Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
sure that they do want to use. They don't like using other IPs, and they probably don't like using other engines, man. But like Unreal is the best bet. It's the easiest, quickest way to transfer things over. A lot of people have said EdTech. Why aren't they using EdTech? But that's a lot of work, man. Then you got to bring the developers off, away from Ed to come
Yep.
over and help you transfer your. They're already there helping apparently EdTech and as well as the coalition. But then you got to bring in a lot more developers to help them get everyone on board with that engine, and likely, like I said I was saying to someone the other day, very likely a lot of those developers in 343 have worked with Unreal before at some stage. When you train to become a developer, one of the engines that you will train with is Unreal, so they will all
You're
have
right.
experience with Unreal. It just makes sense.
Unreal is something that everybody uses. Yeah, across the board. So yeah.
It does, that piques my interest peaked before Risk It, but that piques my interest even more than before. Just how outside of the box did they go with slip space? I mean, how close is it to something that is widely known and used? And if they did go really outside the box, why?
Yeah, you got to think of an engine. I'm not a developer or a massive tech guy, but you got to think of what an engine is, right? When they say engine, what is an engine? An engine is just a set of programming tools, things that you can just go and it's done, right? So Frostbite, EdTech, all these things and their optimizations and all that sort of stuff. But basically, my very basic layman's understanding is that you have an engine, and within that engine, it uses a certain type of code, right? And then it has a certain set of tools that work for whatever game you're developing. So Slipspace would be geared towards Halo. And so there'd be lots of tools that they could use to make things work in Halo. Again, the problem with, and I've been saying this from day one as well, as soon as I found this out, I was like, they did what? The problem is, and me and Hargate can probably go at this again in an Xbox party because I'll disagree with him again. But the problem that they brought in contractors and they put them on the engine. Now, I've had a developer tell me that's not a big deal, but to me, it's a big deal. When something breaks in the engine and you don't know how to fix it, then you're going to go and track down a contractor that can only be there for 10 months to fix that problem. That's a big issue. So, I mean, when you have an engine, Hargate did say to me, and he seems to know his stuff when it comes to this, is that you'll likely only have 4 to 5 guys working on your engine. They will specifically be working on that engine. That's all you really need. But you also need all your developers to have their heads around that engine. So you probably have one of those guys heading out there to the animation guy, and he's like, I'm trying to do this, and this is not working, and this keeps happening. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll go back and fix it with my team, and so on and so forth. You know, he heads out to the art team and like we're trying to port this this art in and it's not working and blah blah blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like there would be a lot of that going on. Yeah, I think what the problem is and what we keep hearing and what I've heard is every time they do one thing, it breaks something else. And that's the problem with Slipspace is the engine isn't stable. And it's and also no one really knows. And they just lost their lead guy. Like the guy who I don't know if you guys know that. The guy who is the lead engine dude. I think he's called the mechanic. No, I just made that up. But he left. So that's your lead guy who knows what's going on with the engine. You lose him and it's a problem. And they're real hard to get. People who work specifically on engines are few and far between when it comes to developers in game studios. So those specific engineers are hard. So everything points to them going to Unreal. I can 110% believe it.
So Thember just brought up in the chat, why would they pay for Unreal Engine when they have their own for free? So this is my understanding of how publishing houses and developers use game engines. Thember, they've already paid for Unreal Engine. They've already paid for the use of it. As much as they're going to use it, I do believe in the agreement there is a percentage. Say if a developer was only going to use it for one game, they would look at how many units they expected the game to sell, and then Unreal would say, or Epic would say, okay, we'll sell you the use of our license for this much, and
or they'll take a percentage of whatever you make.
Yeah, correct. That's what they do. Have it for that. Yeah. And if I know, I mean, I would believe that Microsoft, because we already know that Gears of War has always been Unreal Engine. We know State of Decay 3 is going to be Unreal. I believe Microsoft has probably got a blanket purchase on Unreal Engine 5.
And so I don't know. I'm just going to throw in there because I do know
go for it.
It's a royalty-based system. When it comes to Unreal. So up until your game makes $1 million, that's a free engine to use. And then over and above after $1 million, I believe the royalties then start coming in. But I don't know. I would imagine that those deals are different for every developer. I mean, I'm sure that Microsoft would be like, hey, and they've got a close relationship. You got to remember, man, that the coalition was Epic. Like that's why they're so good with that engine because that's because that was Epic.
Developer's so badass. Like, the coalition is the shit.
Yeah. So those guys, like all 100%. Of those guys in the coalition helped to build Unreal and develop it. So that's why they're so good. And they have a very close relationship with Epic. Microsoft do. So I imagine that they probably do have a deal. They're like, all right, we know we're going to sell minimum this much, and this is the percentage we're going to negotiate. So yeah, but for any developer, you can make a game right now, and if it only makes you 100,000, you don't pay a damn cent for using Unreal. So it's a very.
That's why a lot of indie developers would do that. Yeah, they'll use it.
Yeah. Blaskinski, I think his name is Thember, Cliffy B, and Cliffy B is a legend. Follow that man on Twitter. He's a nutcase.
He is a nutcase. He just throws shit out there, and I'm like, dude, I don't really care about your personal life. Can you talk about games, please? Because that's why I followed you. Please talk about games.
Yeah.
Be some naked girls and stuff on his. You're like, what the hell are you doing, Cliffy? Love this man.
Oh man. So, it was brought up that basically our new backlog starts this month. So what pre-orders has everybody already got paid for, pre-installed, whether or not it's that little like 384 megabyte placeholder or whatnot? What are we hyped for? For me, I'm a golfer. I'm telling you right now, I've got PGA 2K23 in the barrel.
Nice.
I pulled the trigger on that before I pulled the trigger on Modern Warfare 2. Don't shoot me.
That's good, though. That's good. It's good to find a person that actually plays PGA golf. I like to play some golf. I'm not good at it, but I like to play it, though. I find it fun.
Now I was in the. Hopefully they keep it to where you can have golf clubs. I was in a club with everybody on Gaming Beyond the Box, and we played 2K22. Or was it 2K21? Did they have a
Really?
22?
I
Yeah,
don't.
we
I'm
played every week. We actually had
Really?
tournaments set up and game event and weekly events and everything.
Oh,
Fork Boy was really good at keeping up with it, and it was a lot of fun. It
I gotta.
was a lot of fun.
If you guys do that, please tell me because really I think it was 2021, but it just didn't have that much to people play with it. So I was like, okay. But it's a fun game. I love to play it with other people. It's fun. It's hilarious. You know, it's a cool game. But me, what am I waiting for though? I'm waiting for Scorn, a Plague's Tale, especially. A Plague's Tale, man. Woo! It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for that. I also got the Call of Duty, which is a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys played the multiplayer. Risky, did you play the multiplayer Call of Duty?
Oh yeah.
Risky doesn't play multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
no, he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That's why we need a new Halo game. What do you think, Bushido? We need a new Halo game, right?
No,
No? Okay. I thought
no.
you were gonna
The
I thought
game
you were
is
gonna agree with
absolutely
me.
fine.
I thought you were gonna agree with me just to get Risky mad, but okay.
No. That one I can't. I gotta keep it a buck with certain things. I'm sorry, I can't go to that one.
They can call it Halo Indefinite.
Yeah, right.
Halo Indefinite.
No, it's just-
TBA.
Yeah, but those are the games I'm waiting for, especially Scorn, Plague's Tale, and Call of Duty. They're a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
What about December 1st? December 1st.
I'm gonna tell you something though. You guys, oh man, I'm screwed
Oh
because
my
of
god, yes.
December I'm getting married. So
Are you really?
yes,
Delay
I
that.
am.
Delay the wedding. Congratulations. Delay the wedding.
Delay the wedding. What?
So what you're
2024
telling
at the
us is
earliest.
that. So what you're telling us is you're not going to experience Callisto Protocol until like March.
It's gonna be hard, man. I mean, I probably experience it, but it's not gonna be like I'm gonna sit there like I'm gonna play through it. I hope I can, but it's gonna be rough because that's the weekends where family members start coming by and blah blah blah. Getting everybody dressed up and pictures and yeah.
Thimba, that is gold.
What do you
I got
say?
it wrong just then as well. I was like, what?
Yum Yum Cook Star. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Definitely
is
looked
it-
like it said something else.
Yeah. Oh man, Yum Cooks. Is that a game though? I don't know.
It is. But I'm with you, Bob. I'm 110% with you, buddy, man. Like Callisto Protocol, Modern Warfare. But like Game Pass has given us some absolute bangers. What do we got? We got Plague's Tale, we got the penis game, Scorn.
The alien penis game. Alien penis game.
Why are you calling the game the penis game? That game is so good. It looks fantastic.
When we first
I know,
saw the
because-
previews of it, that's all you saw was,
Penis.
the main thing that stuck out to us was the fact that he took his penis out to stick it
No.
into
There's
the wall.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If you actually go through HR Geiger's a lot of his art, and Pete told me this, and I was like, nah, man, no. It's extremely sexualized art. You look at it, and you gotta look.
And
It's
it
like
is creepy though.
It's like the aliens, remember the alien movie,
The xenomorphs.
the xenomorphs. I mean, that art. That guy almost got arrested in an airport because of the art that he made for the movie. It's just it was all sexualized and all that stuff, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" They wanted to bust him because they were like, "This guy's weird. How come he drew this stuff?" And so they're gonna literally put him in jail for that.
Anything.
Well, all
anything
creative people are
Geiger
weird.
Inspired is going to be, 10
Anybody that's
to 40.
creative,
have-
if you ask me, is weird.
You
Because
have
it has to
Pete
take a different
Themper's
mindset.
interest. You got Themper hanging on a thread right now. He's like, "What sexual based artwork? What game is that? What game is that?"
He said, "You don't have to put it inside the chat. Just DM me directly."
Yeah, but there's so much, dude. There's just so much coming. I mean, Gotham Knights.
Excuse me.
The only thing I got on pre-order is Modern Warfare, but like Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights. That's
there's
another
Pete
one.
in the chat.
I keep forgetting about Gotham Knights, but damn, it's on there.
Who mentioned it? Was it you? Was it you, Bushido, or Power Man?
I think
like,
it was
mentioned
Bushido.
that there was a
that was
20-minute
concerned about
gameplay.
it. Oh no,
I
no, that wasn't me. I think that's Power Man brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, I
the
watched like a
20-minute
little
gameplay.
bit, dude, and that looked. I just watched it a little bit on the show, and dude, it looks really. People could. I think me and Pete have been. We had parity. Me and Pete have had parity on this one. It's not contractual, but we had some.
Oh,
But look,
nice.
me and Pete agreed on this that like
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, everyone was kind of bitching
Yeah.
and saying, "Oh, the animations look bad, the game looks bad, this looks bad, it looks bad." Blah. Look, the pedigree of the studio is awesome. I didn't think it looked that bad. And it's a like a Batman universe game, a DC universe game. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna love it.
You know, the crazy thing is, if everybody remembers, and sorry, Louis, but if everybody remembers when Guardians of the Galaxy was released or announced, right? When they announced Guardians, everybody trashed on that game, and they said that it didn't look good, and they hated the way Star-Lord looked. And I heard 1,000 excuses for why that game sucked. And now playing it today, it's one of the best graphical showcases on your console with HDR and the full implementations. It's one of the best looking games I've ever played, and has one of the best stories. So I don't really pay much attention to it, and I'm glad that you got to watch that because there's 20 minutes, about 16 to 20 minutes of like full on, not CGI, not a trailer. It's gameplay. It's literal, actual gameplay, and you're playing as Nightwing. And I think it looks really good. And like I said, I'm a huge Arkham fan. Arkham's like one of my top, I would say Arkham series is in my top 3 of all time when it comes to those types of games. So, you know what I mean? So like, and this is the same studio who made Arkham Origins, which was a great game. I really enjoyed Arkham Origins. I thought it was a good game. You know, I don't think it has the same pedigree as like Arkham City, but it was still really good. And I think this game has a lot of legs, man. I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
I'm just worried about the gameplay. I'm not worried about the way it looks so much. So it's just the way it looks makes the game like I have to get my mind out of it being, since it says Arkham, that it'll play just like Arkham, and I know it's not going to, but I have to get that out of my head because to me that is one of the top 3 greatest superhero games of all time, and I think that. Looking at the game, it looks good, but it looks a little stiff. Me and Peter talked about that a few times. Me and Peter said continuously, like, look, I'm hoping it's good, but, I have my concerns. I'm concerned about certain things, but I'm hoping it's going to be, I almost will never hope a game is going to be bad. Never. Why would I do that to myself? That'd be stupid. But this one, I'm hoping is going to be good. I'm a huge listen. If you think I'm a big Mass Effect fan, I'm a huge Batman fan just as much. Love me some Batman. So I'm hoping it's going to be good. I was a little upset not to hear he wasn't going to be in it, but I do like the Bat family also. So I just hope it's going to be good.
But y'all have not mentioned the game of the year. What happened with God of War? I mean, I'm excited to play God of War if it does come out, though. But yes,
if it comes, there you go. That's it right there.
Now, see,
I'll catch it on PC.
Yeah, I watch Xbox. I watch Xbox Infinite all the time.
Don't even need a PlayStation.
And me and Brisket have got the same outlook on God of War. And when everybody kept saying, "Well, it's going to get delayed," we just haven't heard it yet. And if you all remember, I was the proponent, and I said, "No, I don't believe it's going to get delayed because we haven't heard anything. They've kept their head down, they've kept their nose to the grindstone, and they're not giving everybody these updates and everything. They're not being
There's nothing wrong with that, though. It doesn't take developers off
which
of the
is
game
why
to give you an update.
Everybody is saying right now it's going to get delayed because we haven't seen whether it's even scheduled to ship, or we haven't heard anything other than when they came out and said, "Hey, this is the release date." They're doing the work right now. They are working towards a goal, and they're going to make that goal. I'm still calling it. It's going to be out on the day they say it's going to be out. They're not going to delay something as close to the release date.
That's the part I agree with you. That's weird for a game to get delayed that late inside of the time frame that's supposed to come out. That is really weird if that ever happens.
would you like me to give you about 4 or 5 examples where that's happened?
Yes, please do. I actually would.
Yes, I would love to hear
Lord.
that.
Okay, but
Battlefield 2042,
mhm.
Evil West. What else got delayed recently? There was a whole bunch of games that got delayed out
Ooh,
of October into November.
pretty much everything because God of
Yeah,
War was coming out. Pretty much everybody said, "Let's run away from it."
yeah.
That's what they were
Everyone
saying.
kind of evacuated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except for Sonic ran by and flicked them off, with the middle finger and kept on going.
I believe Horizon Forbidden West. Don't quote me. That delayed 2 months out from its release. We're a
Yeah, I do
month
remember
and four.
delaying, but I don't remember how close it was. You are right about that, though.
Yeah, it was. We're a month and 4 days out.
But
They have not gone gold. There's no reports they've gone
Yep.
gold. Right.
you know what
And they
worries me,
always
Risk It?
report it. Mhm.
You know what worries me, Risk It, is that if they gone gold or anything, what I'm worried about is that game is gonna have a lot of bugs. That's what I'm worried about mostly.
Well, but they haven't gone. This is the thing. They always report when they go gold, and they haven't. So someone said
You're
to me,
right.
"Oh, now we look at companies
No.
going gold." Like, yeah,
No,
fucking
because
we look at
it's
companies
a
going gold.
there's a process though with this, with what you're saying. Listen, when Sony, I remember me and you talked about this before, that when Horizon numbers didn't come out, me and you was like, look, it must not have sold that well because Sony in a heartbeat, if the game does well, they let you know as soon as they find out. There is no delay from them when it comes to find out if the game is good. If the game is selling well. For them to not do this is creepy and out of their out of their own MO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's out of their MO. Because in a heartbeat, if the game sells well, they will proudly say, "Oh, hey, look, we did this. Look, the game did this. Look at one of the reasons why they're not getting a Days Gone too, because it didn't sell 10 million copies."
Yeah. I mean, and look, the clincher for me, well, one's the state of play, but the second thing is
Yeah.
I'm in the most isolated Western city in the world, right? That's where I live. And we will get shit. Like, so I've been told that by someone from GameStop who worked at GameStop, an American dude who messaged me, and he said that we used to get our ships a month out, right? When I spoke to the girls over at our GameStop, which is called EB Games, they haven't even got shipping information yet. So that means that
Maybe.
That's
game.
concerning. Yeah.
Maybe the ship got stuck,
No, but when they
It ran aground.
when they load up, when they load up, right? So what I'm talking about is like not
I
it hasn't
know.
been
I know
delivered.
worries.
Like, yeah, when they load up the stuff, you get that
Yeah.
they let them know that, hey, we've got 4,000
You
copies
get the
of God of
BO.
War shipping to you. Like, it's
The bill
coming
of
now. It's
loading.
left. Yeah,
You get the
so
bill of loading. I know how it works.
that's not even happened yet. So that's
Mhm,
very, very odd. And all of this is quite strange, and no one's pointing it out. Then I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to be that guy.
I know you are. I know you are. And once and I've said it before, and I said it to the guys here in Dominican. They jumped me too. I said, I'm worried about God of War. Like, what are you worried about? I think it's gonna be delayed. And they're like, no, it's not gonna get delayed. I'm like, yes, it will. And I said that 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I
He
was
was
like,
looking to get jumped then.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. But if it gets delayed, I'm gonna be like, see, I told you so. Same thing with even Risk It put something on Twitter, and I was just laughing about it. He put on like day one PC games from PlayStation. I told you so. I was like, yep. I told a lot of people here the same thing. It's gonna come real soon. They're like, no, it's not. I'm like, okay. I said no.
I'm telling you now. I still say it today. Yeah, I don't care if he said a year. I'm telling you right now, Wolverine will go day and date PC. That'll be the game they do it with.
So
Okay.
Spider-Man.
So here's my concern. If it's a game release day and date on Steam, I'm not happy. I want to see a PlayStation service like the Xbox app on my PC where I can log into that service with my gamer tag and get achievements in that game at towards my PlayStation account, towards my gamer tag. That's what I want to see. I want to see a linked ecosystem between the games on PC and on my PlayStation. Because okay. I don't play PlayStation a lot. I play the bangers, so my trophies aren't very high. But if I can access the PS5 games by playing them on my PC, I'd like to get credit for that. So if they can do that, I'm all for it. If not, why bother?
Well, there's a rumored PlayStation PC launcher that's been swirling around for a long time now, and I think that's what part of the investment in the PC ecosystem is a part of, right? Like, what's the best way to put something on another platform but still have it associated with your brand, and that's obviously build a launcher. You know what I mean? And I think the Steam and Epic Games, and you see some deals with Epic Game Store, right? Because they do have a stake in Epic, and I think you'll see some deals maybe there or something. But this launcher that's been going around, I know that Jez has talked about it, and a couple other people that I trust have spoken about it. And maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not. I agree with you. I think that a lot of people are attacked because I think a lot of people, like, with Xbox, a lot of people love their achievements. I like achievements. I won't play a game. That's one of my qualms with Nintendo. That and their lack of party chat, and they have no achievement system. There's just nothing. There's no gumption about their ecosystem. You know what I mean? It's very basic. Very, you turn on a Nintendo Switch and it's just like this. It feels like a toy. You know what I mean? And there's nothing there that says, all right, I have to be invested in this ecosystem and play this game right here. So
nothing really there that carries your lineage with that platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like you could spend 250 hours in Breath of the Wild, and other than just, I guess, taking clips saying that you beat it. I mean, what's there to kind of, you know what I mean? Like, when achievements and stuff like that popped out, it was an awesome way to say, hey, I beat this game. I spent this much time in it. This is my crowning achievement. I did this or that, you know what I mean? And that's why I have a hard time, like, even want to pay attention to Nintendo, because I understand they have great IP and they have like a market share that's like, it's incredible, and people love their games. But I got so used to just like basic things that I think gamers should be having access to, like party chat that's not on a mobile phone, and basic achievements, and anything higher than 480p 30 frames per second. You know what I mean? Like,
it works.
Think that yeah, like in 2022, going into that performance to me isn't going to cut it. You know what I mean? So I totally get where you're coming from, Bob, on the achievements. I think that they're going to have to figure out some kind of way to figure that out. You know what I mean? Because as they do this, you're going to start seeing a deviation from these games, and you can already kind of see it. Whereas Kratos and Spider-Man, all these were associated with PlayStation, and now they're going to be associated with numerous platforms. You know what I mean?
Well, if you look at it, Sony's out to make money just like every other. And what is the best way to make money? Make that game accessible to more people than ever.
Right.
The writing's been on the wall, and the fanboys just don't want to recognize it. And yes, Sony, whether by technical difficulties or just because they're stuck in the past, where everything is only on one plastic box, stuck in their ways.
Almost every
it's going to happen.
Apparently, the fanboys have been agreeing with us the whole time. From what I got told last night when I posted, "Hey, he said this," and they're like, "Yeah, we've been agreeing with that the whole time." I'm like, no, you didn't.
Nope.
Maybe in your heart, but you didn't let your fingers do the talking, because all I've heard from you has been bullshit.
I've seen guys on posts that are talking about playing a game on PC, and then like that same guy that I know for a fact, a few months back said the exact opposite. And they're like, "Oh, we're so glad that everybody gets to enjoy these games." Like, get out of here. We don't know nobody's buying the bullshit that you're spitting out right now. We know that the narrative is shifting, just like it did with Sony. Sony can't even keep up with their own narratives. Like a year and a half ago, they believed in generations, and everything was going to be console exclusive. Now, just 2 days ago, Herman Hulst confirmed, and if you guys notice, if you watch that interview, the way that he said, he's like, about a year. Like he was just kind of throwing a number out there to make it sound better. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, and I agree with Riskit. I'm not gonna go out there and say that it's gonna be Wolverine, but Day and Date is coming. They are grooming their fan base to set them up. They do. You got to, with a fanboy, a pony, you got to stroke it. You got to make sure it's okay. Give it some water, and some hay, and say, okay, now we're gonna give PC. We're gonna give them the game at the same time. Is that okay? And they might like kick the door, and they're gonna neigh a little bit.
I'm just
you gotta be real careful when you get on top of that.
I'm just really happy that they actually announced that unit sales is not as important. I was like, damn, finally, that's another narrative.
Isn't that funny?
That's another narrative that took down from those guys to be talking about, because remember they were like, "Oh, PlayStation is number one," but hey, man, they said that
Louis, I think that PlayStation as a brand, dude, and I don't mean nothing against like anybody, personally, but I think that, and this is my personal opinion, I think that PlayStation would be better off if they just went ahead and embraced Microsoft's vision of gaming. And got rid of these toxic fanboys that are associated with their platform, because they really do. I mean, but let's be honest, they really do.
I'll tell you why after you make your point. I'll tell you why after you make that point.
They make the brand, like, the thing is like I agree. I like PlayStation's game. I've platinumed Ratchet and Clank. I platinumed Miles Morales. I've almost platinumed the original Spider-Man. So I enjoy their games, but their fan base, I just cannot get down with, man. The strong fan base that you see on Twitter, and you'll see it in the communities, man. It's when you talk to Xbox guys, they're the first ones to call out Microsoft on their bullshit. If they come out with bullshit, they're the first ones to talk about and critique Xbox. I mean, we've had entire podcasts that were talking about where Halo needs to be and what needs to happen at 343 and all the things that needed to be said. And I tell you, when I do my circles and I every now and then I branch out and listen to these PlayStation podcasts, they do not hold that company accountable for anything. Nothing is held accountable. They do no wrong. Every game's a banger. Predator Hunting Grounds is a banger. Destruction All Stars is a banger. You know what I mean? Like, all these games that are trash are bangers, and they don't care what anybody says. That's what they're going to keep with the narrative until it shifts, and Sony shifts it for them. So that's what I'm saying. I think it'd be better off they cut that out.
You made my point. Yeah.
And then, because when they finally do that, when they finally just say, you know what, they should just cut it up, rip it off like a Band-Aid. Hey, guess what? We're going day and date. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they'll get over it eventually.
They'll
get over it eventually, and it won't be that long. But I think that the reason why they wouldn't groom them to come out of that is because they still need them to be drones and throw money the way that they do. So whenever you do the BS that you do, as far as remakes are concerned, or anything else like that on the outside, quote unquote remakes, I'm sorry, you can get away with it.
But I don't think it's the money. I don't think it's the money, dude, because the money would be a very small portion of what they get from casuals. I think Bushido maybe linked to the money in this way. Whatever Sony does, they will back, and they will market Sony, saying that it can do no wrong, and coming up with, and it's the fanboys that come up with these crazy narratives to fit whatever decision PlayStation's made to make it seem like it's okay. That gets passed down to the casuals, and that's why they won't do it. Like $70 games that got backed by PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember?
You're saying the same thing I'm saying, but saying it differently, Risky. You're not slick. I'm just letting you know that.
Do you remember the SSD talk? Oh my God!
The magical SSD.
Oh Lord!
The magical SSD. I remember the narrative was. Hold on, I remember this one. Somebody, I remember, and the guy got sick, unfortunately, but he was going around spewing the narrative with the rest of his base that, see, the SSD, it streams in assets so fast that it helps with the graphical fidelity. And I was like, dude, do you know that SSDs have been around for decades already?
Yep.
You making it like this is a new thing. This is a new thing to consoles. It's not new to all technology. This ain't a new thing.
Do you know my
favorite
thing?
It does not help with that. I said just stores memory, basically.
I miss that. I miss that narrative, because my favorite thing to do was like go say to them, okay, man, all right, cool, SSDs are great. So when you go buy your gaming PC, right, what's the first component that you focus on? Is that your SSD, or what do you pick?
You gotta
It's
focus.
like,
You
dude,
got,
it's the last thing you get. You get a GPU, your
Yep.
CPU, and
Yep.
then maybe you look at your maybe
Your power
fans,
supply,
and
yes.
your power supply, and then you look at your
No.
SSD. Like,
you're all the way around. You gotta work on your motherboard, case, motherboard, and all
All right,
the other.
whatever it still, Louis, you know what we're talking about.
Tell them to take that GPU out of their PC and tell me how those games run. That's what you
yeah,
do.
Yeah,
straight,
You know,
yeah, how
straight
about
from the
that?
SSD, dude.
But
Straight
I
from the
agree with you,
SSD.
Parman.
Straight
I
to the
agree with you,
SSD,
Parman.
yep.
Literally, I'm tired of all these narrative and all this negative stuff they keep on talking about. Like what Risk said, they invent so much stuff. I mean, look at the SSD, look at the PC games. PS games coming to PC day one. And if it's gonna come, it's gonna come. And at the end of the day, I don't know why they keep on like holding it off, because they're like a little bit afraid, to let that loose. And they have to let it loose sooner or later because they need to make that money. Right now, they're in
Yeah,
a position where they need to make money. And the more they hold off, trying to be like, oh, we're not going to do this, we're going to just do that, it's going to get worse for them. I mean, look the other day when Yoshida jumped on and said, oh, our service is for old games. I'm like, what? Like, why are you going on saying this? I mean, that's just wrong. I'm like, damn, man, I paid for that service, so I'm gonna get old games. I'm like, you know what? I'm not paying for that thing next year. Hell no. Until they
well,
get it, just
remember Jim Ryan said something new for once, where he said that we
yeah.
want to get to more players. As it's almost basically saying, like, we'd like to reach billions of players, sounding like Phil Spencer, except he's saying it a little differently. That
Mhm.
now he sees the light, and now he wants to reach other players. We want to reach our games, reach more players. Of course you do. Of course you do. Everyone does.
That's what everyone does. And not only that, you're gonna make the money right there. Throw it in
Yeah.
PC day one. Why are you wasting time? Why?
He said
What?
he said he wanted to remove the roadblocks, right? I found funny
Mhm.
because then he upped the price of the console and then raised
Oh
the price of the
Lord.
game.
Oh yeah. How
Let's
about
not,
that?
let's
How
not
about
let's not get
that?
into let's not get into that. That's another thing.
Yeah,
Hey.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Hey, see what I put
No.
on screen? This is Peter at night.
It's
A lot of women in Cyberpunk are hot. Yeah.
Like, Pete, nice shirt, man.
Poor Pete.
Oh
Poor
goodness.
Pete. Oh man.
Yeah, look, it's nuts the way they carry on and just won't see. Look, me and Umbra will do this thing we're doing lately where we just argue whilst ignoring facts, right?
You
So
argue
we
about
just
everything, man.
completely ignore facts is what we do just for a laugh, and we call it arguing like Sony fans. Because the fact could be like right in front of you, and you just pretend it didn't happen. You're like, no, it didn't happen. No, that wasn't said.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't exist. It's what they've been doing this whole generation. And if you can't,
and last generation.
if you can't see the way that we're heading here, and listen, maybe it won't be Wolverine, but I'm pretty sure that that's a game. Listen, as you said, Louis, down there, you said, mate, that they don't want to lose the money. You're talking, so maybe they sell 5 million a year later. They're going to sell 10 on day one.
Yes.
Right? They're probably going to double.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to
PC.
double that. I don't know why the heck are they holding up on that? I mean, they got to
It's
let
the
go.
fans. It's the fans.
It's fans, yes, and not only that, they always give stuff to feed them. Like, for example, like I'm gonna tell you on the chat here in Dominican, right? I was like, you see, I told you guys plenty of times that the day one PC is gonna come soon. You know what they started arguing me about? I said we never said that PS games were not gonna be on there. We said that PS AAA games were gonna be on them. Like, dude, you guys mentioned PS games, and I literally had the conversation and sent it to them. I was like, you mentioned only PlayStation games. And yes,
they always try to change. Yeah, they always want to put
always want to
flip the narrative.
Everything. And then not only that, PlayStation gives it to them. Like, AAA games are going to release a year after. I'm like, okay, why are you going to release a year after? Why? You think people are going to pay $50 or $7 along the way? They're going to pretty much get mad at you,
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, though. I basically understand, because the PC games are still at $60, right? And so they released the $70 game day one. People are gonna be like, wait, we're gonna wait for a price drop. But either way, though,
They cried about that this week as well. Though I saw that on Twitter. I'm like, you were the ones who backed $70 games. They're like, why? How come PC has not got $70 games? Because PC players don't want it. You fucking idiots. You were the ones that backed it, and now we got it. If you didn't back it, we wouldn't have it.
Wasn't 2K the one who started with that? 2K started with that with the $70 games. It was 2K who began with that, right?
No, it was it was Xbox. No, they said they were going to do it too. I mean, PlayStation, excuse me. They said they were going to do it too.
No, it was 2K who started with it.
You sure? Because I remember. I'll probably say. Okay, because I was going to say at least from what I recollect, I remember it being primarily which one? Okay.
The thing is,
they got backed. 2K, they got backed by Sony fans.
Yeah.
There was no one backing the 2K thing, and I think even before that happened, Sony fans are like, "Oh man, $70 games, that sucks." And then Sony did it, and they're like, "Oh, $70 games, well, it's quality." You know?
The games that got away with it. I mean, got away with it, and then everybody else started paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was part.
They got away with it.
This is part of the interview, right, with Yoshida. Yoshida literally was comparing their games they won. You know, release they say, "Oh, we got quality games." You know, like our games are like movies. When they come out, we got to put them in the movie theater first.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
And when he says that, I'm like, dude, but you release your games, but they're a little bit buggy and stuff like that. And you're charging us $70, and you're charging $70 with an old engine, not a new engine. You know, that's just messed up. But yeah, you get my point, right?
Well, that's what happens when the fans back it. You have to speak with your wallet. If you don't speak with your wallet, actually you still are by buying it. And when you do that, what happens? You get forced and stuck into that system that they want you to be in. Instead of saying, no, dude, we're not doing this. No. And they have to walk it back. It's either make money or don't make money. And believe me, they will make money.
And I will say this, right? And a lot of times people want to point out PC versions being cheaper, but in my experience on a lot of games, PC tends to there's a lot of games out there, man, with shitty ports. Like they just have terrible ports that go over to PC, and it's like almost like you can't even justify spending the equivalent price because I could get a game on PC that was originally made on console and ported over. Arkham Knight was one of the big ones. You guys remember or have you guys ever heard about the fiasco that Arkham Knight had on PC whenever they put it on there? They ported it to PC and it was absolutely broken. It was an absolute dumpster fire. It was incredible.
I remember Horizon was bad. Horizon was bad.
Yeah. Same deal, man. Like, people want to scream PC Master Race, but a lot of these games they put over there, and maybe that's because they're just not putting the work in or they're not
that's what it is.
Doing whatever,
yeah.
But,
that's why they bought that company
Nixus.
Nixus. That's why they bought Nixus. They bought themselves a company that does the PC ports so they don't have to contract it out. And so now this is all your money. You don't have to worry about the cost of porting it, getting somebody else to come in and port it, which is a good idea. People didn't like the idea, but I thought it was a good idea.
That tells you everything you need to know, right?
Yes.
And when they bought Bluepoint, it's like, oh shit, here we go. We're going to get some remakes. Oh, and they bought Nexus. Oh shit, here we go. We're going to get some PC games. Like, just tells you everything you need to know.
You don't invest that kind of money.
These guys are still like, no, they're probably just buying them to make a new IP. No, dude.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I was like, how's a PC port company? I remember getting into an argument with your boy Guapzilla in a space about that. And I was like, listen, dude, because he was saying that all developers are interchangeable. And I said, that's not true at all. I said, you got animators, you got level designers, and you got coders. I said, so not everybody knows how to do the same things. And he was arguing me up and down in that space that no, they all can do the same thing. And so that's why they got the guys from Nixus. I was like, yeah, okay, dude.
That's a ridiculous
I was like, okay, dude. I said, that's okay, dude. That's all right. That's all right.
He supposedly works in the industry, though, right? I mean, every time I see him speak, which is not often because he's got me blocked now because he doesn't like being
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm blocked though.
Yeah, but he always sounds like he works as a developer, but I'm pretty sure that
he does.
Does he work at Chuck E. Cheese or something like that?
I remember mentioning that I knew a couple of developers, and I talked to them about something, right? And he says, "Well, I know developers at Konami." I said, "Get the out of here!" I said, "You don't know no free developers over no Konami. Give me a break."
Bobzilla DoorDashed somebody that knew somebody at Konami, and
He said,
maybe
DoorDash.
texted.
He said Bobzilla.
That's about as close as he ever got to a developer, and that's all I can say about that.
Yes. I was like, the stuff that you say you can't tell me. I was like, dude, it's not hard. I said, you can just DM a guy, ask him. These dudes do want to talk to people. They don't have a problem with it. Oh, it was too freaking funny, man.
And there's lists out there, by the way. If you look hard enough, there's lists of developers with their phone numbers, with their email addresses. Like if you want to reach out to a developer in a certain studio, it ain't that difficult.
It's sure really not.
Unless they're under NDA, there's really a lot of those guys enjoy talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? They just all it takes is to reach out, you know. And maybe not on their side. Maybe a lot of Sony devs don't like talking to that area of Twitter. You know, maybe they're having troubles. You know,
Rob is the only one that I've ever seen do that. Rob is the only one I know from PlayStation that talks to people. He's the only one I know. I think it's one other guy, but I think that's about it. That's as far as I know. I put it that way.
And I've noticed too
that's
that
your
a lot
mission,
of developers
Bacito.
really aren't invested in.
So that's my mission, to find another PlayStation guy.
No, you need to reach out in DMs and emails.
Touch somebody
to developers. touch somebody and bring them in.
Well, first of all, I can get you any. Well, not any. I ain't gonna talk like I'm big time. I get you a developer in here. I just was waiting for us to get a time to be open, so I got about 3. I know we'll come in immediately. Like those dudes really like to talk gaming, and they could tell you some stories. I have heard some real horrific stories about games that we have played and loved, and found out that game was in development. That was one thing that they taught me was development hell is all the time. They was like, that ain't a thing where it happens here and there. They said no. They was like, development hell happens with everything. They said there aren't any games that aren't in development hell. They said every time we make a game, it's always something going on. And so I had them tell me some story. Dude, I've heard some really great stories. I heard the one about Anthem. I still love telling that one. Because that one's unbelievable. The developers found out the same day we saw the trailer. That's deep. They go there and they sit there like, hey man, that game looks pretty cool. And come to find out, he's like, yeah, look, we want you guys to make this game, and everything you saw on the screen, we want that in the game. And they was like, okay, and how? And what is the storm thing? And it was like, how are we supposed to put that in the game? We don't even know what it is. It was crazy, man. And in 18 months, they put that game together, and they had all hands on. Do you want to talk about close to 2,000 developers on that game? I was like, man, and no wonder they didn't have any content. No wonder the game failed. The game didn't fail because it was a bad game or it had mismanagement. It was the fact that the guys over top of everybody, the suits, made a call without talking to anybody. And what is it? The trailer was made from outside. I didn't know the trailers are most of the time made by a third party. I didn't know that. You give them a description of the game. You might get a guy or two to go in to say like, no, that's not really what goes on the game or whatever. That's about it though. But for the most part though, that's how a trailer is made. You know, those guys don't even see the game.
Initial CGI trailers, especially, because they usually reach out to, cinematography studio. So like Blizzard, for instance, right? They have their own studio in house, right? That does like the cinematography.
I didn't know that, Blizzard.
Yeah. Blizzard has their own in house. That's why they're so good. So a lot of them reach out. You know what I mean? Like that Avowed trailer. And they'll reach out to different companies and stuff like that. And like you said, give them, hey, this is our vision. This is what we want to see. But I just, that story always blows my mind because I'm like, dude, you're sitting there, you're watching this, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I wonder who's making that, And
you're the one making it.
You look at the end of the trailer and like, well, that says me. I wasn't told about what do we do?
And they tell he just takes both hands. That's I don't know why that's how I picture it. But he takes both hands and says, "See all that on the screen? I want all that in here."
Yeah. You need to. Yeah, slap that on an Xbox controller and let's call it a day. Okay.
That's amazing, man. I just was like, wow.
Which sucks because that game had so much potential, man. I was really hyped when I
Yeah, I
saw
agree.
that trailer. I was into it, man, and
I agree. I played a lot of hours into it too.
I was skeptical, but
yeah,
I know,
cautiously optimistic.
Let's get stop it.
I was like, looks.
We give you props already. Don't start exaggerating the legend of Risk It. Come on, man. You didn't know.
It looked too good to be true, man. I was like, this looks good, but
it was amazing,
it was around the time of Destiny, right? And it was the first kind of game that they said it was going to be sort of live service. I think it was before even they were like really using that live service tag as a thing.
Right.
And I was like, man, they are trying to ride off the back of Destiny here. Oh, and I was like, we've already seen what happened with Destiny 1. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe if they drop this and they've learned from Destiny 1's mistakes, then it will be all right. The actual mechanics of it look cool. I was like, that looks cool and everything. But when they described what the game was supposed to be as in live service, I was like, I don't know, man.
The game it just was too ambitious, too short a time. I can't even say ambitious because it's not like the studio got together to figure out what they wanted to do with it. It was just you just was like, hey, I want you to do this.
The idea was ambitious, but I think the only one that ever stood a chance or was close to like standing toe to toe with Destiny, and I think that was the original Division, man. Like that one was a live service game that people actually still
love.
Play.
Yep, still play that game.
I played a lot.
The first one, they still play the first one.
I played The first Division was the absolute best out of the two by far.
The second one got a little bit of revitalized.
I liked it. I liked the second one
for a while.
I still have it downloaded right now. I really loved. I'm really big and like I love the Tom Clancy vibe and that whole story with the paper flu or the money flu, and I thought it was a really cool concept, and I thought the Dark Zone was super unique. Like being able to like drop in this area, and you can choose to work competitive, like cooperatively, or you can just say screw it and start popping off. And and the extraction points and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really innovative things. It's like they just didn't know how to execute it properly again.
Yeah, well,
it just was. There were certain. Good, not good, bro.
No, they left New York. When they left New York, they left the winter vibe. That whole scene was just like, they went down to Washington, and it was just a different. The summer was okay, but it just didn't hit as hard.
What are you doing?
He's enjoying greatness right now. Like, that's what that is.
Just a little love to those that have stuck in the chat.
Quality games
this long.
Santi in the chat actually said, just going back to that talk, you said they have an Iron Man game in the works, and they already have that game built. Man, it's Anthem, right?
Yep.
But they just need to get the story, the content, and the mechanics of Anthem were really good. It was really good game, and you were playing basically as Iron Man, right? So
basically, you were. Yeah. You really were. Yeah. There was a lot of mechanics in the game that, if you look at it, I don't know if any guy hasn't played it. But if you have not played it, there are a lot of things in that game. I don't remember one person I played with that didn't say, "Man, this would be a dope Iron Man game," or I can see how this could be made to an Iron Man game. When I heard they were making Iron Man, I said, "This is the engine right there."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you play the Ranger in Anthem, you're essentially playing Iron Man.
Basically,
or War Machine or whatever. And the Hulkbuster is the Titan. They have it all. They have it all laid out in front of them. You know what I mean? It's so easy.
Each one of them is each type of his armors. If you look at it, each one of them, except for the what's that real fast one name? That's the only one. Yeah, that's the only one that I don't look at as one like Iron Man suits, but it just shows you it has a mechanic. That one's real acrobatic.
Yeah, and Iron Man in the comics had a suit for everything, so
right.
And I don't really think that that anyone would complain if they incorporated that. That gameplay into an Iron Man game. I think that's kind of what everyone would expect, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that game might have been more successful if it was attached to a big name like Iron Man, versus a new IP. I would, and people talk about, Anthem and it killing, BioWare. Listen, they're already working on Mass Effect. I know they already have we'll see another Dragon Age first, and that's a huge IP. I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to be just fine.
As long as they leave them
It's
alone.
not the same studio, dude.
It's not.
Yeah.
But if you
I
leave
know,
them alone,
but I have faith. I don't know. What stuff that I'm hearing about the new.
I still think it's a good studio.
I'm friends with somebody who's like really into Dragon Age. Yeah, and they're real good friends, and they've been informed about some stuff with Dragon Age, and apparently it's awesome, and they're huge fans. So, like I said, I like the Dragon Age series, and I thought that Mass Effect Legendary Edition was awesome. You know what I mean? It's just huge. But
yeah, it really was good.
I don't know, Bush. What do you think about the new Mass Effect? You hype? I mean, like they looking good to you? You feeling good about that?
Super duper hype. I'm really hype. Yeah. I'm just concerned of the engine. That Frostbite engine didn't do Mass Effect Andromeda any. Yeah, it didn't do them.
Yeah, the googly eyes is what killed it. The googly
eye thing. I didn't know they the problem with that was I found out from them too. It was contracted out. They didn't do that, so I was like, well, no wonder. Yeah, they contracted that out. So
that makes a lot more sense because it was so out of character in my opinion.
It really was, but at the same time, I keep saying this. This is the last time I'm gonna say it tonight. Brisket is right though. It's not the same studio. It's unfortunately like they've got so many new people in. I think they may have like maybe 4 people from the old, and they're not even like writers or anything like that. These guys are all over the place now. But I think that when I finished Andromeda last winter, and it actually wasn't that bad. It actually was okay. I heard a lot of people saying like that was actually pretty good. I was like, yeah, all right, I don't know about that one. But it actually was. It was actually pretty good. It had the absolute best combat system. That's one thing I will say.
100%.
It had the best combat system out of all the games. That's what kept me playing. Yes. So that's what gives me some promise that the game and some hope that the game will be pretty good. I'm just concerned about the writing. Let's have some characters this time we all can like instead of some characters I'm like, I guess I'll romance her, I guess. Type of thing. And
they struggle with the attachment to the characters, and they didn't have as memorable characters as it did from the original. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody really stood out, and wasn't like an irreplaceable version of the team. Like I had a team in Mass Effect 2 and 3 that I just there's no way that I could get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you just had that squad.
Everybody has their own favorite squads that they run in with Mass Effect. It always has Garrett in there, and in Mass Effect 2 is Garrett, me, and Miranda. I had to break myself away from romancing Miranda like 2-3 times. So I had to do. So I was with Jax once, and I forgot who the other one was. Oh, it was Tally. So, but for some reason I kept getting drawn back to Miranda. She just baddie. She just a baddie waifu right there. But yeah, I'm just hoping you get the same thing. Can we get some of the same stuff back? In Andromeda, I took Cora because like, what else am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Right. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm out, guys. I mean, I launched the last topic literally 45 minutes ago, and then
seriously
talked. And I'm just like, hey, I was like, hey, being a host is great. This is so much fun.
He sat back and read the benefits. Everybody just talking. He's like, hey, I was wondering why he wasn't stopping nobody. You say, no, okay, guys, now you got it.
I'm out. I mean,
you knew what you signed up for.
Yeah,
I saw like an hour and 40 minutes maybe, and now we're at 2 hours and 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes. I'm like, okay.
No, man, you got a good panel together. You got a good panel together because most of the stuff we just like off the top of our heads went from one thing to another thing and went to another thing, and we had to drag ourselves back to the other conversation.
That's why That's why I love
It's
you
just-
guys, because Bob takes the topic, which is, I mean, and I'm a golfer, so keep this in mind. Bob takes the topic, which is the little pristine golf ball, and he sets it on the tee, and the tee is the show. And then Bob swings back the club and hits the ball. And then from there on out, Power Bushido and usually Fabio and our guest just go. It's it's great. I love you guys so much.
Hey, same here, bro.
Same.
Oh. So, we're gonna get out of here. Like I said, 2 hours and almost 10 minutes now of a great goodness, gaming
Wow, that's
fun,
fast.
chatting with friends, hanging with the chat. Chat, you have been fired tonight. I did want to say a special shout out to Gerald Mack because he shouted out myself and the panel earlier. Shout out to you, sir. And Kay Asante for stopping by. Sir, you were a great guest when we
He
had you
sure enough
on.
was.
Yes, very, very knowledgeable individual. Palpatine, Thember, the usuals, Boba Fett Gaming, everybody that stopped by. Umbra, we got to get out of here, guys. I'm going to run through the panel and our guests and Powerman 4K. My brother, where can people find you?
Great show, man. Thanks a lot. So you can find me on Twitter at Powerman4K. Xbox is Powerman4K, and you can catch me here on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. chopping it up with you guys, man. Good show.
Risk it for the biscuit, which I gotta say, as far as I mean, I thought Boba Fett Gaming had a great name because the acronym is BFG, which I thought was great. But Risk it for the biscuit is really a close second.
Yeah, he
Brother,
didn't even come up
where
with that
can
name
people find
himself. So you don't even give him credit for that. He didn't come up with the name.
He didn't come up with it.
No, I got to put Risky out there because he's been right too many times, and I need to knock him down a peg. Yeah.
You're muted, Risk it.
You know, this is the first time I see Risk It peacefully, you know?
Risk it's talking, but I can't hear it.
He's all quiet.
You're muted, sir.
This is the first time I see Risk It like in peace, you know? He's at peace. Yeah, like, he doesn't look mad or ranting or complaining, you know? He's at peace. He's still muted. He doesn't have to figure it out.
It's so peaceful.
He's still talking.
Oh, it's a shame. Risk it.
It's not the outro we wanted. It's the outro we needed.
It's the outro we needed.
Yes.
Oh man, poor Risket. You would start seeing him slamming his keyboard like God.
He looks so peaceful right now. We should take a picture of that.
He sound like at his funeral or something.
Yeah.
He looks so peaceful. Oh man.
I don't know.
While he's fixing that,
I don't think he's fixing
it.
I don't think he's fixing it though. He's complaining though.
You could find me on the Xbox and Twitter still at Bushido and Mr. Bushido N7. You could find me on Wednesdays, part-time in it between the Spooky Sprocket show and the KY Bobby show. I start with his show at 7 and at 8 come over here. So and from time to time I'll alternate. 9. Yeah, I'm gonna alternate sometimes, you know. That way I don't have any bias.
No, see, there's a business deal going on right now between me and Spooky. We're going to buy you out full time.
Got you.
We have to have Mr. Bush the professor.
Oh, I'm muted. I've been muted the whole time.
We told you we couldn't hear your outro.
Man.
You look so peaceful, Risket. You look so peaceful.
So I was like, what is he talking about, man? I'm like, going, what's this guy talking about? What does he mean?
Oh man, that was a
Yeah, right.
shame.
Nice step in there, Bushido. I like that though. I was like, oh man, this dude's doing his all right, that's cool. Yeah, look, you guys can find me at Fridays, 8 p.m. EST over on my channel. We do Xbox Infinite every week. Thanks for having me on, KY. You're an absolute champion. And Power Man, also champion. Bushido, very similar to Infinite, but also a champion. Yeah, look, with the name, by the way, I did kind of name myself. You're sort of wrong. But I was playing a lot of Modern Warfare. One of the guys, my whole team got wiped out. It was just me v everyone on the other team. And some dude's like, "Well, you gonna sit in the corner or just risk it for the biscuit?" And I was like, "Fuck it." Wiped out the whole enemy team, clutched the game, and then I was like, "That's it. I'm risking it for the biscuit from now on." But it was only one time because every other time I would have died.
Yeah.
So that's why I got the name. But Bushido, what the hell's going on with you, man? Going over, you're on Spookies. You're over here. You're like there. You're here. You're everywhere. Like
I can't make rational decisions without my wife. So since she doesn't know about it, I try to do it on my own, and it ain't, what you gonna do,
But yeah, like, so you are on Spookies early in the day, and then you slip it over here.
Yep.
I got a
I'll
meeting
make sure
with,
to avoid
I got
the
a
shows
meeting
at
with
those
Spooky
times.
tomorrow at noon, and we're going to negotiate the buyout rights for.
Yeah, Spooky wants draft picks though. He's gonna want some high draft picks, so it's gonna be up to you.
I can give him Ultimus.
Okay.
Oh,
That's up to you guys. I can't.
is Ultimus watching? Ultimus like, what?
I'm surprised Power Man's not hasn't fallen on the floor in laughter right now.
I had to mute my mic, sir. I was okay. So,
but I love doing both shows. I just can't. I wish I could figure something else out, but I really do love doing both shows, though.
And Thursdays it worked with everybody's schedule, and then when I was needed to help the family with the scouting with scouts, I had to make a decision, and it was Wednesdays.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do for the family, man. Like I said,
I know.
You can always just fire the missus, though. You know what I mean? It's not working
but the
out,
But then
really
I still got to do scouts with the kids. What am I going to do with fire the missus? That doesn't get rid of the kids.
Can you sell them?
I wouldn't want to get rid of them.
How much the kids go for these days?
All right.
I wouldn't know
We're
my
going to move on.
So.
We're going to move on. Scratch that. Crazy Lui Gaming. Brother, where can people find you? Where can people find you at, brother?
You can find me on Twitter at Crazy Lui Gaming, where I do a lot of dance stuff and singing and a whole bunch of stuff, and also trying to annoy Brisket once in a while. But no, we only fight each other in Xbox Live. So yeah, that's the only chance you guys can find us fighting over there. Yep.
Look at the screen, Brisket.
What's wrong with the screen? Hello,
Brisket. I mean, not Brisket. Bushido, look at the screen. Look at it.
What's wrong with the screen?
I'm looking. Okay, Sante, to keep it.
That's right.
That sounds about right, Kay. That sounds about right.
You guys
get back on again. He was really good the last time we had him on, man.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But you also can find me at Xbox Lunch Break Special at the Double Barrel Gaming YouTube channel at 12 p.m. noon with Mr. Boomstick, Mr. Web Dave, and Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. And as always, on Wednesdays, Xbox International, 7 p.m. ET with my brother Silent Cypher and Sour Blow going over and over the gaming news of the week. KY Bob, thank you for inviting me on the show, man. It's been a lot of fun. Mr. Bushido, as always, a lot of fun hanging out with you. Power Man, I don't know if I hung out with you before on Xbox Live, but hey, man, nice to meet you. A lot of fun with you too. Mm-hmm. And Brisket, as always, hey, did Brisket leave? Why leave?
He had to bail out. He had to go.
Okay.
He had to go take
Alright.
care of one of his little ones, which is totally understandable. Family first, guys.
Family
Yep,
first.
always.
He put it in the
Risk it.
private chat
Yeah,
that
I just saw. I
he
just
had
saw
to
it.
go. He had to pick up a little one.
Gotcha.
Right. And risk it. We always fighting. Love you to death, brother. Hope we keep on fighting on Xbox Live. But hey, man, KY Bob, a lot of fun with you tonight. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. Hope to see you again soon.
So I really feel like we had a coming of peace here because
Yeah.
we didn't really have an argument or really a big disagreement between Risket and Crazy Louie, and I hope that we started to build the bridge to a better tomorrow between the two.
You know that's not gonna happen because we always gotta argue though. I mean, if we don't argue, we're not happy. That's something that we gotta do on Xbox
You
Live.
made me laugh, Bushido. You made me laugh so hard that my Bluetooth headset fell out of my freaking ear, and I had to pick it up off the desk.
What happened?
Oh my gosh!
That's a
But
shame. That's messed up.
yes, I have encouraged peace on this episode of GameStat Live.
Oh man.
And I am your host, KY Bob. Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. British Standard Time. You can catch me on Twitter, KY Bob. You can catch me on YouTube, KY Bob, doing this great show every Wednesday called Game Set Live. We are a small channel and what I consider to be a special show because everybody runs this show, not just the host. I pitch it and everybody else catches, and it's a really good time. I love to see the chat. The chat, you drive us. Xbox KY Bob, PlayStation KY Bob, Steam KY Bob. It was great to see all of you all,
And
and
you
it was
guys can
great to
always
be
catch KY
seen by
Bob on
all of you.
a tube also at your local CVS.
What?
So
Look at what?
you could catch KY Bob on KY. I like to say for him to shorten it and on a tube inside of CVS. You know, that's part of his endorsement with his name being KY and
dear
everything.
Lord.
Bushido, I had a great flow going, and then you just walked up, you stepped on it, you destroyed my flow.
I think they're actually.
You was about to close out. You was about to close out. I couldn't.
He's
let you
actually in talks on
close
a
out.
KY G fuel flavor. If I had to get guessed correctly, we could have some.
Oh, you step further than me.
Oh, man.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna take care of this behind stage. You all have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and be safe. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
PlayStation better.
Good one.
Xbox got no games.
Son of a.
Oh,